Hello, Fermented Folks.
We have P. Jelly Clark.
All Makatsu.
We have Travis Baldry.
Today we have a really special guest, Leopoldo Gout.
Are you reeling it in and defending clowns?
I am. Earth doesn't even exist in Battlestar Galactica.
This show gives me heartburn. It's like, I loves it, I hate it.
It's called All Fluff.
Oh!
If you didn't know how I actually feel about The Mandalorian,
Don't worry,
this is it right here. Hello, Fermented Folks. Yeah, you see that, Jeremy. You see that.
Oh, yeah.
You see how I learned about the delay coming out of our
Well,
intro
you've
video?
done
And I
it.
know not to start
You've
screaming at people on
absolutely
mute.
done it.
I did it. I'm proud of myself.
You
Look
too,
at
Ben.
us. Look at us. We're here on the Fermented Fiction Podcast. Welcome back, Fermented Folks, and hello. Thank you for joining us yet again for another lively debate with another awesome guest. You cannot see Stephanie Rose, but Stephanie Rose is here with us, much like the entity in Paranormal Activity, which we are debating today. But hopefully her intentions are better. I'm sure she's going to come with some vitriol and some fire during the debate, but after that, we'll have a great time talking about what we actually think. Stephanie, so thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hell yeah. We're excited for you to be here, and we are excited to be here ourselves. We're excited to have all you wonderful listeners out there. And, if you've been here before, then you do know what to expect here. That's our round of personal updates. Let's go ahead and get right into that. Jeremy, what's going on with you, buddy?
Well, I have unfortunately reached the end of all the Murderbot Diaries audiobooks, so now I don't have any excuse to still not be reading The Fall of Hyperion. So that's where I'm at. A real moral struggle happening for me.
Yeah, you seem almost like hesitant to enter into the Fall of Hyperion. Are you like? I don't remember. Did you not like the first one?
No, I didn't.
Absolutely
Look,
not.
it was fine. Look, I love a good, weirdly horny sci-fi classic as much as anybody, but I'm.
This is coming
Look,
back to me now. It's coming.
I'm gonna
back.
get. Look, I'm gonna read the book. I am, cover to cover, so I can yell about that one too.
All right, sounds good.
Probably.
Godspeed. There's going to be plenty to yell about, I'm sure. Travis, what's going on with you?
I have one big and one small. The small one first. I have I'm pretty anti-tech, so I've been listening to CDs in my car because I got rid of my smartphone. Anyway, a while ago, this is like kind of a late update, but it was exciting for me. I got the 3-disc set of all of Jim Croce's albums because he only made 3 before he tragically passed. And so I just have Jim Croce stuck in my head like all day, all the time now. And it's the most delightful thing because I just think that man didn't miss not a single song, 3 albums. Perfect career. Sad that he passed so young. And you know what? I'm just gonna leave it with that. I'll save my bigger one for next episode. I'll put that in the pocket. But yeah, Jim Croce's in my head, and it's a good thing.
Yeah. Everybody subscribe if you want to hear Travis's big update. And you are still muted.
That's right. I was going to say, boy, make sure you say that guy's entire ass name. Otherwise, that can get unfortunate really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's great. I love the fact that you're listening to CDs. If Travis happens to be your internet crush or your fiction realm crush or something, he still accepts mixtapes.
I do. I will play them in my pickup. My wife might have a problem with it, but send them.
Send them. Yeah, if they're good, if they got some Jim Croce, Travis he'll bust them out. And
I have to find a CD burner.
Yeah, exactly. Gonna bring some of these to StokerCon. If you're gonna be at StokerCon, catch Travis with a mixtape. We'd love to hear what mixtapes you could throw together for him at StokerCon. That'd be sick.
I am now definitely going on eBay to buy like an old CD player with the plug-in headphones I will have that at StokerCon.
Yeah, great. Have a
Find me.
Walkman.
Get the Walkman.
Find me. Yep, I'll have the Walkman at StokerCon. Find me.
Nice. The hardest part of that will probably be finding like a pair of headphones that still has the auxiliary jack. But I believe in you. Good luck.
Godspeed.
Godspeed, sir. Yeah, my personal update. I have officially finished reading all of the slush and getting it whittled down to our top 10 selections for the Crypticon Seattle Writing Contest Anthology. So that's really exciting. We're going to be, by Monday, we should have all our jury votes in. So that will finalize everybody who's going to be published in the anthology. We published the top 5. We have the first through third get cash prizes. And then the 2 honorable mentions, 4th and 5th, also get tickets to the convention. So everybody who gets published obviously gets tickets to the whole weekend convention. So it's a really fun contest. We were stoked to have like 4 or 5 times more entries this year than we have ever had before. So that was really cool. And we continue to improve that collection, and we got some awesome prose on it this year. So it's going to be really, really great. Just excited to get it out there into the world, and excited to be done with the slush reading portion. I love that portion, but it's also very stressful trying to get through like every story, trying to give every story the same level of gravity and respect and appreciation. Stephanie, I know you can speak to this as a publisher as well. So yeah, on that note, Stephanie, what's going on with you? Who are you? Where can people find your work? And again, thanks for coming on the show. We're glad to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Before I say that, notes for everyone. Jeremy, Murderbot's awesome. Love it. And the show, if you haven't seen the show, it's amazing. It actually does a very good job for the series so far. Next book's coming out soon. Travis, it's not going to be a sexy mixtape, but I will absolutely send you a mix CD. Doesn't have to be, an innuendo there. It can just be like, hey, this guy's cool. It doesn't have to be like that. Yeah. And you can get DVD and CD burners with no problem online. I actually am in the process of making my office into like this nostalgia haven. So I have like I want to believe poster, and I have CD and DVD cases, and I have a DVD VHS set up now, and it's just a really nice way to escape outside. And Clay, Crypticon, awesome, and that just sounds really cool, and I'm excited to read that eventually. And yes, so I'm Stephanie Rose. I am the author. I love that I didn't have you put that in the marquee. That's how great I'm doing today. I'm the author of Hiding Lies and the upcoming release of Small Town Slasher. And I am also the editor of Twisted Tales Tell the Night, an anthology. The first one was Halloween. We had so many great submissions. Our next one is going to be another Halloween with even more. And that one comes out in June on Summerween. And if you know what Summerween is, that means you're awesome because you know Gravity Falls. And people can find me online at deathbytbrbooks.com, and on Instagram. I do not update both accounts anymore because it was too much trouble. So author, publisher, all of that is just under one, Death by TBR Books.
Right on.
Heck yeah. Thank you so much. And I've got that added to the banner just so people can also see Stephanie is an author as well, has plenty of her own books there that you can purchase and check out, and you should. But before you do that, sorry, what?
I love the title of that. I love Death by TBR because every time I've read it the past like week preparing, I've just imagined this shelf here just like falling on me.
I mean, that's what we all do. Like, I mean, we are constantly adding to our watch list, our book list, our music list, and then you kind of curate it and move it around. Like I definitely take things off. Like I will spend 2 hours one night and just watch like 20 trailers of movies I've just randomly added to my letterbox, and I look at it and I've taken an edible and I'm just like, what when did I add that one? And I just like, nope, I don't like that one anymore. So I kind of curate it and I do that for books too. So I'm very much about like, if I don't like something, it goes on the list for maybe forever ago. I will, read it or watch it later. But I definitely do enjoy doing that.
See, I make sticky notes. And they're like everywhere. And my wife will just find them and be like, "Are you gonna watch these ones?" And I'm like, "You can throw that one away." But right, the newest currently it's the
Yep.
Oscars watch list. So
Ooh,
that's
okay.
the only. That's all I have left. So
I
I've watched a
can't.
lot.
Wowie.
The,
A lot.
the last few years I've wanted to watch the Oscar movies, and I started to watch Hamnet, and I was just like,
Oh,
I would rather rewatch something right now than watch these people. Like, what is this? Like, and I watched the first like 15 minutes, and I know what it's about and everything, and I know the acting's incredible. I like the actors in it, but I don't like dramas. I just don't like
That's
them
fair.
anymore unless somebody really recommends it and it has like a thriller aspect or just like they're just they don't make them the same. There isn't Internal Sunshines of the Spotless Mind or Bringing Out the Dead or Requiem for a Dream, like those dark like thriller dramas like Magnolia and American Beauty. Like they're just not the same kind of dramas.
Mhm.
And I have watched a few of them. I honestly don't even know what's nominated except for Sinners right now. I can't think of Hamnet, that one, but like I think I've seen a few, but I don't know. Maybe I just don't have good taste in movies, but I just get really mad that there's not enough sci-fi or fantasy or
Yeah.
horror there.
Yeah.
Every year I'm just like
Yeah.
watching it. I'm like, why is there only drama? Why do they put comedy with horror? I don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
but I always watch the awards every year because I always do find usually I like the Emmys the best because you have the best of both worlds. And I'll find like I started watching The Pit because I kept seeing it get nominated
yeah.
and won. And I am obsessed and I love it. And Euphoria, same thing. Saw it, then
Mhm.
I watched the show. So it really just depends. But I am excited. And I do sometimes like to watch them all. I used to do that to be like, ooh, now I can be a judge of which one should have won.
That's what I do. This is like my Super Bowl, but stay tuned. We're probably
Yes.
going to have like a special episode on it. So if you're a fan of
Awesome.
fermented
Can't
fiction
wait.
people and listening,
Heck
Oh,
yeah.
we got one coming down.
Yeah. I really liked Train Dreams. That's one of the other ones on the list that I've seen. And that was made out here in Washington. Our buddy Matt Rush, who was on the show last year to debate horror movie by Paul Tremblay, he worked on it, I found out, just because I saw a random Instagram post that was like, dream come true, and it was like from the director, and Matt Rush was tagged in it, and I was like, holy shit. And then I found out he was the best boy grip, which is pretty awesome. That's a pretty high G&E position to achieve for a movie of that caliber. So shout out to Matt. Congrats, buddy.
Congrats,
I hope-
Matt. That's a great cast too. I definitely that's awesome.
Yeah, I hope Matt gets to put an Academy Award on his shelf. I don't know how that works. I don't know. Does like the whole cast get to do that? If it's like best lighting, does the G&E crew, the whole crew get it? Or is it just like the gaffer and the director of cinematography? Or I don't know how that works.
Maybe they work out like a custody deal.
Yeah.
I feel like
They,
it
like,
should be like that,
rotate it.
like it is for like
Yeah.
the Stanley Cup. Like like everybody gets it one day. I feel like if
Yeah.
it's like because everybody has a part to that in the film, and like director of cinematography, he's usually the one that would get it, he or she. But I feel like passing it around would be really cool and like
Or they
take
should
photos
do
with
like
it somewhere.
Do like a Super Bowl thing where it's one trophy, but everybody gets like a ring or some bling.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be good.
Come on,
Some
Academy. Where's the Oscars rings?
Yeah, figure it
We have
out.
it here. We have it here.
Figure it
Do
out.
it.
Okay. We're gonna hope that they can figure that out and everything else they need to figure out right along with it, which is plenty of things. And I'm sure we'll talk about that in our special episode. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna try to do it before the Oscars, obviously. So in the coming weeks, it's coming right up.
Oh, yeah.
In the meantime, you're already here. And we can assume you're here to listen to us talk about paranormal activity with the wonderful Stephanie Rose. So that's what we're going to do. If you don't know already, a quick synopsis of paranormal activity. This is the story of a man, Micah, and a woman, Katie, who are afraid that their house is haunted. Katie specifically is worried that this haunting has followed her since childhood. And Micah decides that her partner decides that a good way to handle this would be to get it on film. Because that works every time, doesn't it? So Micah goes, he gets a camera, and we show up right there in the camera lens with Katie pulling up and Micah saying, "Look what I got." And she's like, "Look what you got." And from there we we follow them as they try to document the paranormal activity that is happening in their house. It's a pretty short movie. It's got a classic runtime of like 126, and that's kind of a bygone thing. But so it moves at a fast pace, and yeah, it's kind of a classic haunted house demonic possession story, told right from the camera lens in classic found footage style. So if you're into that and you have somehow never seen Paranormal Activity, definitely recommend you go watch it. If you don't like spoilers, you should go away and do that right now, because we're going to spoil the fuck out of this thing as we debate it in just a few moments. If you don't care about that, stay tuned. We're about to do our debate right now. So the way we do that on this show is we roll 2d20s. High roll will defend Paranormal Activity, regardless of if they like it or not. Low roll will attack it, regardless of if they like it or not. And after that, we'll talk all about it. We'll have a panel-style discussion. We'll have fun facts. We'll have the breakdown of whether this was a success at the box office. We will drink beer together, or whatever else you might have brought along with you for this debate. And we're going to have a great time. So, you guys ready to debate? Travis will be representing Fermented Fiction. Stephanie will be representing the genre fiction realm as a whole. So we wish them both luck. Jeremy, you want to bring us into this as you usually do right after they dice roll?
I sure would love
I'm
that.
rolling.
Let's do it.
Rolling for both of us. Okay, I got a 7. Stephanie, I'm saying mine before I roll yours to keep us honest here.
Okay.
So I got a 7.
7 is the number to beat.
You got a nat 20.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, suck it, Travis. The
Let's
luck
go.
is back. There we go.
The luck is
It's
back.
It's the
Nat
high risk,
20.
high reward dice. Yep.
Yep. We have
Oh,
a
yeah.
special guest dice with more nat 20s and more nat 1s for those of you who aren't familiar. So if you come on and you don't bring your own D20, just know that we have the dice gods kind of tilted for or against you a little steeper. So
They're definitely
regardless,
tilting.
the dice are cast. Jeremy, count us in, and I'm going to disappear till the end of the
Oh,
debate.
yeah. All right. Let's have a good, clean-ish debate. Let's go for it. Let's really, just go at it. Have some fun out there with this one, you guys. And we're going to get this thing started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Stephanie, you bring us in.
Okay, so I am defending, right? Just to make sure.
Yep, you're defending.
Okay, so for me, defending this movie redefined micro-budget horror. It didn't rely on gore. It relied more on lore. It relied on stillness. It had a locked off camera point at the bed, but you stared at it for so long and it captured your attention for an hour and a half. I think that's the genius of it. It weaponizes anticipation and the fear of what you see and what you're not going to see, and then waiting to see it. And when it came out in theaters, it worked, and it held them the entire time, and it made this really kind of mundane thing feel unsafe. Your bedroom, your hallway, 3 a.m. that night, maybe when you got home from the theater. And it really just captured that kind of suburban realism. So I think that having that be in one location, and the building of things on it and kind of filling in as you go would be like, as the anticipation went up. A lot happens in the last 30 minutes. So maybe for some people, there's so many nights that happen, but the last half an hour, you're just gripped the entire time, even if characters don't make the best decisions, but you're still there and you're still like, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen on the next night and the next night and the next night? Where are we going with this? So I think it does that for the found footage, and it opened up a lot of other incredible found footage films. This was really, there was some before this, but after this came out, so many more came out, and a lot of bad ones, but a lot of really good ones too. We wouldn't have so many of my favorite found footage films without this one.
Let me consult my notes here real quick. Okay, so this is a revolutionary film on a shoestring budget that, had powerful performances. Oh, I'm sorry. Those are actually my notes for the Blair Witch Project, which this is just a complete rip-off of. This movie's not original at all. It is touted as original, like it was this huge revolutionary film that completely changed the face of found footage, but really the Blair Witch Project did everything this movie did 7 years earlier, and probably to much greater effect, because the Blair Witch Project did something much more intelligently, and that is advertised as if it was a real incident. They did the whole War of the Worlds thing, where when people were going to the theaters, they were thinking this was like a documentary until they realize, oh, it's all fake. But that like brings you into this realism. And I hated that in Paranormal Activity, we all knew it was fake going in, and yet they still have this like opening credits, no opening credits, this thing that's like, we wanted to respect the families of the victims. It's like, what are you doing, Paramount? We know that this is like a fake movie, like a fictional story. Why are you trying to pitch it to us as if it's Blair Witch? They should have leaned into the skid, done the whole thing where it's like, oh, we're releasing this documentary in theaters. And I think that would have really upped the fear factor. But instead, what we get is boredom. And I do think you're right. It captures suburban realism in that the suburbs are mundane and dry. And I think that's what this movie is. It is the suburbs as a horror film, which is, you go to work, you come home, you pet your dog, maybe you watch a movie, and then you go to bed. And that's how most of this drudgery feels. It's pretty slow, and most of the scares are predictable. Also, Micah is awful and hard to watch. He's an abhorrent character, in my opinion. His dialogue is both stilted, not well delivered, and he's just not a good person or boyfriend. And every time she tells him to stop doing what he's doing, he should have. And it's hard to really buy into his story when I feel that painfully hatred, that high amount of hatred towards one of its primary characters. Katie was right. They should have stopped messing with the demon, called the exorcist, gotten the hell out of Dodge. But Micah is an egotistical idiot. And all of the problems could have been solved by her just dumping him in the first 10 minutes. So, yeah, not a fan.
Do I get to say more or no?
Oh, yes, we do.
Okay.
We got a full 10 minutes.
Okay. So, yes, Blair Witch came out earlier. Yes, I went to see it in the theater and I thought it was real. You can't do it again. They did it once. If you've done it that before, other people are going to know when you go to the theater, like, oh, this isn't real. Now, my thing is, when you watch a found footage film, it's not the only one that does it. There's a lot of movies that do that whole, we'd like to thank the families, or this is true, this is recovered footage. Like, look at the movie Megan is Missing. Like, you watch it, you're like, I shouldn't be watching this. When you watch found footage, there is this, like, at least for me, when I watch it, there's, yeah, I know it's fake, but then I'm watching, like, is it? Is that one little part, like, is that maybe pulled from something real? So it's not that I believe it the entire time I'm watching it, but I think throwing that in is important. And I think also it does not use known actors, which means they probably aren't that good at acting, which they are not in this movie. And I know that, but I think the thing you kind of connect to is that you haven't seen them in anything. So it does still feel like this, maybe you're watching something that happened to someone. And so I'm okay with the fake opening credits and things like that. There are lots of decisions that both Micah and Katie make that are crazy and stupid. And if they would have just left, if either of them would have left, there's 50 things they could have done differently, probably more. But then we wouldn't have a horror movie. Every single horror movie, whether it's found footage or something else, you gotta be dumb. Blair Witch, really? You didn't scout it out and you don't have a map? Okay, cool. So it's like, and I still love that movie, but I think that like every single movie in the horror genre, you have to have people in it that somehow don't think, maybe we should do something different. They do things, and I think that Micah is, he's such a twat. He is, but he is. He does not, for me, he is a man who has a house and a woman, and he is like, I don't know what to do. And I think his lack of control over the situation just makes him want to do all of these things, put the powder on the ground and not call people. No, I want to be the one that helps my girlfriend solve this because I didn't know about it till now. And now I want some sense of control. And he's not going to get that. But that's where I think his motive comes from. And is he a dick? Yes. But I think if for someone who doesn't seem to believe in the supernatural, I think it's a very traditional reaction that people make in these types of films. And I think that we get a little bit of like, we start to get them like starting to maybe make some better decisions. And I do think that there is a lot to say about the fact that, yes, like almost the same thing happens most nights, but I watching it again for maybe the 40th, 50th time, I still had one or two parts that I completely jumped. And I know they were coming, but I didn't quite know when the sound was happening. Because for me, the audio in this is really what makes it an incredible film. There are so many parts that you don't know the audio is going to change when it does. And those are the parts that give me goosebumps, that make it where it very much chilled people, especially seeing in the theater, just like these sounds that would just come around them. And then you knew it was there. And it started to happen during the day. And that was something that Blair Witch did too. But to have all of this happen in an hour and 20 whatever minutes in one location, any movie that can do that, to me, it's really impressive that they can carry a storyline and have it be there in only one house the entire film. And I think that is it says a lot about the type of film Oren was trying to make. And I think, you still have that. And I think that there's a lot of people who are afraid of home invasions. That's a huge thing. I mean, for me growing up, that was, and even though this is a supernatural thing, you hear those footsteps on the stairs in the movie. It's terrifying. It could be someone coming up your stairs. So it's like, did I hear something now? So that playful, like the playing of sound and nighttime in the beginning, I think does set the stage really well for this kind of, you don't know what's going to happen next and you're scared because you can't see it.
I'll give you that. I mean, I'll give you that it does use sound well. And the single location does lend itself to this type of thing. But here's my big issue is you mentioned it. It's like revolutionary and in this whole catalog of the genre of found fiction, which Blair Witch did start. And this, yes, did maybe have some shifting moments to it, but it's not even close to the best movie in its own series. And it's not even close to the best found footage film. I would say Cloverfield and what's the superhero one with Dane DeHaan and Michael B. Jordan? Oh, it'll come to me. Chronicle and Cloverfield are like 50 times better than this movie. And
they had a blockbuster budget.
They did have a blockbuster budget, but we can't say cheap gives it this like pass. But I think in its own series, I would say like all the paranormal.
Everybody shut up. We're done. We're done. It's beer of the week, everybody.
Beer of the week. Well done.
Well done.
Okay.
Good work, everyone. You really did it. You went for it.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Well done, everybody.
All right.
So we're on Drink of the Week, and we will soon get to hear what everybody actually thinks, and Travis will get to start with that because he had to go against. But first, let's talk about what we brought to the table for drinks, and then we'll do some fermented facts, which I brought today since Travis had to debate, but if anybody else has them, they can also chip those in. We can start with me because mine is kind of basic, at least if you're from this area. Because I brought some Black Raven. That's a very well-known brewery around the Seattle area. It's a great brewery. It's over in Redmond. They also are a sponsor for Crypticon Seattle, but that's not why I brought them. That's just a happy coincidence. I brought them because I found a Trickster IPA, and boy, if there was ever a trickster, it's this sneaky little demon that's following Katie around. He's a tricky boy. So I figured this would be a fitting beer for the episode. Jeremy, what do you got?
Well, hey, so what I've got right now is part of some mixology research I happen to be doing right now. This is a drink I'm working on called the Demonic Gentleman, which I thought was very fitting for right now.
Yeah.
Hey, cheers, everybody.
I know
right
what you're
now
researching.
It is a formulation. Oh, yeah. Clay knows. Everybody stay tuned. And, if you want to try it, it is bourbon with some Ancho Reyes chili liqueur and some Jack Daniel's Tennessee Fire.
Nice.
Maybe I'll try that after Lent.
Yeah,
Yes.
Take that, Travis.
Travis is drinking fucking rain, I assume, because
Irish
it's Lent.
breakfast tea. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Fucking rain with some Irish dunked
What
into
is
it.
this? This is what
Forest
day?
rain.
Let's
Gotcha.
look real quick. It is day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of 40. No booze. So here we go.
You're on your
There
way,
you go,
pal.
man.
You're on your way. You're 20% of the way there.
Your liver will thank you, I assume.
Stephanie, are you joining us with a drink? Do you have tea? Do you have anything like that?
I have what I deem is called, I have it with my husband. His is in the fridge, and we have them every day because we're dorks. I just call it a juice. That's just because we're weird. It's half cherry seltzer and half juice. For today, I have orange juice and
Nice.
a side of an edible. So that's there. I've taken
There
that.
we go.
So that's because I just can't drink alcohol as much anymore. But edibles are a good fun thing. So I have that with my delicious seltzery citrusy drink for tonight.
Nice. Hell yeah. I've definitely gotten onto the edible, especially mushrooms train, because I went to the Fungi Festival this year and it was so fun. And we found these excellent edibles, and now I just can't get enough of them. Maybe I'll join you. I might join you for hour 2.
Do it.
That's where the
That's
bulk of
the
my
spirit.
hosting abilities are revoked anyway in favor of my smarter
I didn't know if
brother.
I could mention, because
when
like
I
you guys always
take over.
mention alcohol, and I was like, what can I
Oh, yeah.
mention? I'm taking an edible for the podcast.
Of
Definitely.
course, I'm just basic.
and I'm just a square. So
Indeed. You shouldn't be blamed for these men's shortcomings, Stephanie. I'll join you with an edible in the
Yes.
second hour. And I usually get pretty. I've for years gotten pretty blazed on this show.
Yeah.
But I'm actually taking.
favorite episodes, some backlist. Like, do you have a backlist episode you were like, dude, I was fucked up?
I mean, a pretty recent one I got pretty drunk on. Which one was that, Travis? It was just a couple episodes ago, but I got way too drunk on that one.
I don't remember what we talked about. And
It's like 2 weeks
I
ago.
can't look it up.
I know I got really drunk for C.S. Humble's book launch.
Yeah, you did. So
So
did
did I.
Travis.
I mean, luckily mine didn't hit me till like the last 8 minutes, but those last 8 minutes were rough.
Mhm. Yeah. That was a good time. Oh, it was The Last of Us, Stephanie. Just 2 episodes ago.
Okay.
Oh boy. Yeah. I was
Alright.
slugging whiskey for that one. And around the end of the second hour, it was pretty evident that I was about to become whatever the alcoholic equivalent of a clicker is. I was essentially in that phase of the metamorphosis.
He was at the
Awesome.
clicker phase.
Yeah, for sure.
Moments away from just going,
Oh my gosh,
yes.
that's great.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, Stephanie.
Welcome,
You're an
everyone.
awesome guest. We're having a great time. Let's get into some other great stuff, which is our fermented facts. There's some fun ones for this. So, as you guys who are regular viewers know, we generally kind of cherry pick these off the IMDb trivia and then from whatever interviews or whatever else we go around and watch. So if you want to find more of them, IMDb for any movie that has a level of popularity always has a cool trivia section. Go check it out. It's always fun. Here's some of the 10 favorites that we have found in our research. Stephanie mentioned that this was shot in one location, which is Oren Peli's house, and that's pretty amazing. It was also shot on his home video camera, and this was in the early aughts or the early 2000s. So that it's pretty impressive that he was able to do that all with whatever camera he had at the time. It was also shot in only 10 days, which is bonkers. If you know anything about filmmaking, it takes a very long time to make a movie, especially a movie that's going to experience the level of success that this movie did. Now, obviously, found footage lends you quite a bit of aid in that regard, because a lot of the shortcomings that are inherent with that subcategory of filmmaking of horror are accepted and looked right past because they're part of the story. But still, it comes with its own challenges to do found footage and do it well. And Oren Peli did that with this small cast and this small crew in just 10 days. Remarkable. Steven Spielberg loved this movie, apparently. During his home screening, he was super creeped out about it. And then he even had a part in restructuring the ending. He convinced Oren Peli to change the ending. He was apparently personally involved in doing that when Paramount did the theatrical release. Travis already mentioned this, but it's one of the rare occurrences where a film has no opening or ending credits. That is a very rare occurrence indeed. And they did that as an homage to the Blair Witch Project because they were, like Travis also mentioned in his debate, kind of doing the same thing where they're pseudo pretending that this is a real event and using that as part of the storytelling mechanism, which I quite liked. This is Oren's directorial debut also. The actors had no scripts, only guidelines as to what they should talk about, where they should move around, how they should do it. They just were kind of directed in the moment on set, which again, the fact that it was done in 10 days makes that all the more impressive. And I actually think that these people did a pretty damn good job, especially considering how few acting credits they both have. Even to this day, Katie has gone on to be in a couple bigger shows and stuff, but I'm pretty sure Micah has almost exclusively done Paranormal Activity cameos. So yeah, Jason Blum, the one of the execs at Blumhouse and founders of Blumhouse, which is a very famous horror indie producer. If you don't know that, they produce a lot of the shows we have or movies that we have talked about on this show. He actually had a chance back in the 90s to pick up the Blair Witch Project, and he kind of said, no, this will never work. I think that's exactly how he said it.
It sounds right.
Yeah, that's how Jason Blum talks. Just go listen to an interview, and then it'll corroborate that. But he turned Blair Witch down, much to his later chagrin, as that movie went to just smack the box office right in the face and make a ton of fucking money and spark an entire like subculture of the horror genre in the found footage movement. So when this one came across his desk, he saw it as a chance to redeem himself, and he picked it up, and he was right, because this was kind of the next wave of Blair Witch Project. It had the same sort of trajectory, very similar box office success. Travis might correct me on some of that, but
well,
like
I'm just gonna jump in, not correction. You're like, this movie started Blumhouse. Like this was the success that sort of launched his company. So if you like Insidious, you have Paranormal Activity to thank, and Get Out. I mean, he produced that one, but even more so, he was so invested in the success of this. There's actually an interview where he talks about he helped on the actual set and production with Oren. And when you see the bed sheet sliding off of the husband in the final scene, that's Jason laying on the ground, like pulling it to make sure that the shot looks good. And Oren behind the camera. So he was like, he's like, this one's got to work.
He took that chance at redemption, and he went all the way in on it. And on that same note, that's a great transition, Travis. Thank you for setting that up so professionally. All the effects in this film are practical, and they were just enhanced on Oren's PC, if they were enhanced at all. But even Micah getting thrown across the room and everything like that, that was all practical effects, which is pretty cool. And then just some final ones. Travis always likes to talk about box office success, so I'll let him get into the precise numbers. But it should be known that this movie was colossally successful in a lot of ways. The most impressive of which is that it was the highest grossing movie ever for a film playing in less than 200 theaters. So at one point, it even reached number 4 at the box office while playing at only 160 movie theaters on the weekend of October 9th through 11th in 2009. That is a crazy ass stat. Think about how many movie theaters that you know just around you. 200 is not very many at all for the whole nation. And it would have been competing with bona fide blockbusters from all over the place. And this is October, so there was other horror movies out too. It was competing with its own genre. It was competing with all kinds of things. I don't know exactly what they were, but it'd be easy to look it up because I gave you the weekend, 9th through 11th, October 2009. See what else was out. Which Halloween movie was out? Which of the 15 Screams was coming out that October? Like, what was it competing
fight
with?
Jason that weekend?
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Did Freddy and Jason throw down that weekend? Nobody fucking knows because we were too busy watching Paranormal Activity. Travis, what were the exact numbers on that?
Yeah, so this is not only that stat, it's also the second highest grossing film in history if you like calculate gross domestic earn.
Yeah.
So the only one that's higher than it is Blair Witch, because the Blair Witch Project only cost $22,000 to make and earned like millions. This movie cost $350,000, and worldwide it earned 193 million, like 0.3 million. So when you, it's not even close to the highest earning like total. That's one in the billions with, Endgame and the Avatar movies. But when you calculate like amount cost versus amount earned, this is the second highest grossing film of all time.
Wow.
And yet it only cost Paramount $300K to buy the entire IP.
Yeah.
That's capitalism, baby.
Yeah, crazy. Oh, and they only paid Katie and Micah $500 to start.
No.
But then after they succeeded like so much, they like went back and renegotiated and were like, hey, can we have like more?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Good for
guys.
them.
$500 they made. upon
Exactly.
initial filming.
We were all rooting for that guy to die. He should get more money for it, right?
For sure. And that's a totally, just for context for everybody out there, that is not unusual for an actor trying to get their feet underneath them in Hollywood, just starting out, going to do a weird found footage movie at some director's house. Like, I have definitely done those kind of projects where it was like, will you come on for $100 a day? How many days? 2. And then those days are both like 20-hour days, but hey, you got $100 and some fucking dominoes. Good luck out there, kid.
Woo.
Yeah, man.
We call that exposure pay in the industry, getting that exposure pay. Stephanie, you also said you did way too much research. Did you find some fun facts while you were out there?
They were pretty much the ones you said. A lot of people don't know that it wasn't actually scripted, which you said that. I did actually look up a new fact that you were talking about just now about what came out at the same time.
Yeah,
if you guys want to hear that.
Yeah.
So Pandorum, which was a sci-fi thriller with Dennis Quaid.
Oh.
Love
That
Happens.
movie's so bad.
Yeah, it is. Love Happens, rom-com drama with Aaron Eckhart and Jennifer Aniston. I Can Do Bad All by Myself, Tyler Perry.
Okay.
Jennifer's Body came out.
Oh,
Monday.
okay.
Oh, there you
So
go.
that's the one. And then
Strong
Blind Date, I don't
weekend.
even know what that is. And then earlier that month, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs came out, and Surrogates, which were two kind of big movies that month. So that could have taken away a little bit, but there really wasn't a lot of really big movies that came out that weekend. So that probably helped. But Jennifer's Body,
Man.
amazing. So besides that, there really wasn't much.
I'm surprised by several of these facts. First, that Surrogates is that old. I forgot that it was that old of a film. Yeah, Jennifer's Body would have been the only one it was kind of going toe for toe for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Pandorum was awful.
I forgot about that movie, and I was glad that I did. And now
That's
I
what
know that it exists again.
I will say
Now you know. Feel good
because
about
I have
that?
strong opinions and have to say them. I don't have to, but I do.
Do it anyway.
One of my like top movies on lists of let me make sure I'm thinking of the right movie. But movies that have like great actors but are absolute trash. Pandorum, the main character is played by Ben Foster, who I just find he's amazing. But the poor man tried his best.
Now I do have a follow-up question to this sort of reveal. How many of those movies are Nicolas Cage movies? Or does your list adjust for that?
That's the other way.
Because it's unfair.
It's like Nicolas Cage happens to be in a really good movie. I don't know. You know who's in a lot of them? I think he has a terrible agent is Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany has he has a bad filmography, but he's like a great actor.
But he's so good.
Yeah.
And his voice is silky smooth. You just gotta listen to it.
You see him in like Master and Commander, and you're like, man, this guy's amazing. And then it's like, what's his next movie? Oh, the Vampire Angel one that I forgot the name of. Strange.
Oh.
Anyway.
Jeremy, you have a good voice. Like my partner and I were driving back from him snowboarding, me hanging out in the lodge and playing in the snow, and I was like, hey, we should listen to the CJ Lead one. And you talking about Twilight. You just have you have inflections when you talk about something that you really don't like, and it's really funny to me. I enjoyed it very much, that episode especially.
Oh,
Can I
you
can reveal
come on anytime.
Stephanie, you have no idea what you've just done.
Oh no,
Stephanie-
I'm so sorry. I'm not though.
And his
because
head grew
we
3
were.
sizes that day.
Yeah. Can I reveal something to the audience, Stephanie, about that episode in particular? I think we're far enough
Sure.
removed from it that I hope CJ is
Please
not
do.
like, this is terrible. I hope everyone finds this funny and fun. I puked mid-episode interviewing CJ Lead. I had like really bad heartburn, and I just
Aw.
like asked a question, highlighted her on the screen, threw up,
Oh,
and like went back to
no.
the thing. And yeah, I will
Jesus
never
Christ,
forget.
Travis.
That was
Wow.
a wild moment, and I hope it didn't come off in the interview. You know,
No,
I hope you didn't
I
hear
didn't.
retching sounds, but I muted.
I didn't hear any. I didn't hear any of
I
that.
didn't notice, and I was there, not there, but here,
Yeah.
there. Damn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There's a
that was
little
one of
tidbit
the
for the
few I
fermented
missed.
fun.
So I listened to it, and I would have never known that. You pulled it off
Nope.
great, buddy.
You did
Sweet.
great.
Way to
Sorry
go,
you were feeling
man.
like that. That sucks, but you hung
Oh.
in there.
Yeah, thanks, CJ. I'm sorry if it came off, but great interview. Great
Bad
interview.
choice of words, Travis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it's
What are you gonna
Bad
do?
choice of words. What am I gonna
CJ,
do?
please come
Stop
back
it.
on the show. We
Please.
love to have
yeah.
you. We'd love to have
Come
you
on back. We swear Travis won't throw up this time.
I won't.
I don't know if we can swear that. Okay. What we can swear though is that we are going to do our next segment because we always do. This is the part of the show where we talk about what we really thought about Paranormal Activity. Jeremy and I will also get a chance to chip in here, but we'll start with Travis because he had to debate against it. Travis, do you actually hate this movie? Do you love this movie? What's the truth?
I don't hate this movie. I love Paranormal Activity. I do think it's not even close to the best in the series. We were just talking earlier, Clay. Paranormal Activity 3 is, I think, like peak Paranormal Activity. It has the best shots, a little higher production value. I cared a little more about the characters, the storyline, like the through line of the story was better. But this movie is revolutionary and kicked off a total change in the found footage genre and popularized it to where big movies like Cloverfield and Chronicle could be made. And Clayton knows I'm a huge Cloverfield fan. I think that movie is amazing. It has its flaws, but I think what this movie shows, Paranormal Activity, that is elevated in like Cloverfield, is the beauty of found footage, which is you can kind of get away with a little maybe more stilted acting and less experienced actors because like the handheld camera gives this sort of real feeling to everything, and it would feel disingenuous if they were like perfect actors. I don't know if I said that right, but I think found footage really works for horror when it works. It's hard to pull off, but because it's so intimate, it like allows you to be in the fear with the people. And I do think Stephanie, you were 100% right. This movie pulls off those small, quiet moments really well. I mean, one of the biggest things, it made people afraid of a timestamp. Like you're watching that 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock hour and you're like on it, the edge of your seat. I don't think it's as good on rewatches. It's kind of a one and done movie, but that's okay. In theaters, it was terrifying. And we're going to talk more about its advertisements in the question section. But yeah, this was one of the best advertised films ever. And it was the first one to do this thing that people have tried to copy since of like showing the crowd. And it really didn't show footage from the movie. But if you remember the ads on TV, it was like just word blurbs that were like scariest movie of the century, blah, blah, blah. And then it just showed the crowd and these like test audiences like freaking out. And you wanted to go. You were like, oh, what are they so scared of? And I lined up, and I was like there, ready to go with my friends. I think 2006. I don't want to do the math. I'm pretty sure I was in high school.
10 years ago. Everything was 10 years ago.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I wasn't in high school. I was in college, right? No. But,
Sure, bud.
Sure you were.
yeah, there we go. 20 years ago. So no, I was younger than that. Anyway,
You were in like
The-
middle school, bro.
I was in
a
middle
senior.
school.
Oh,
So I think-
gross! Really?
Yeah, this
for real.
was
No,
this
you
was
guys are that
09
young.
when I went and
Oh,
saw this
God.
in theaters. I know,
Yeah.
I'm but a boy.
You're a
Yeah.
But a
baby.
boy.
But a boy.
Why is everybody talking like Jason Blum all of a sudden?
Anyway, great movie. It started what is actually one of my weirdly favorite genres, because I think when found footage is firing on all cylinders, I don't find much else scarier. It's
Yep.
just unfortunate that
Mhm.
it doesn't work very well very often. But yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think that the argument for that is very similar to the argument for its box office success, which is like the amount is what matters here. The volume is what matters here. Like, because of found footage's lack of limitations relative to other horror movies or really any other movie in general, everybody can make one, literally.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
everybody can make one, especially today with cell phones and webcams and everything like that we just have in our pockets at all times. Like, so you have a really high volume of them being made at all times, and
Yeah.
the ones that are good are hopefully rise to the top, but you really never know. A lot of good ones, I'm sure, get forgotten as well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of movies owe tribute to this. Like, I'm thinking now of, we've entered into this new like found footage, but it's like camera streaming stuff.
Yeah,
And there's
lots of that.
really
Mhm.
bad examples of that. But what was the one, the Zoom horror film that was really Host was solid.
Oh my
Host is good.
God, so
Yeah,
good.
and that
Really good.
That was like it was the 2020s Paranormal Activity. Like,
Yep.
forever.
It was
will be known.
COVID's. It was COVID's found
COVID's-
footage film. Like,
COVID's-
that's what
COVID's
made
found
it.
footage.
Everybody was on Zoom, so like it made it even
Yep.
more terrifying. Oh, so good. So happy you
Mhm.
mentioned that one.
Yeah.
While you're there talking about that, Stephanie, what did you think about Paranormal Activity for realsies? Do you actually love it, or do you hate it
No.
secretly?
It was actually really hard to defend. No, I'm just kidding. I fucking no, and I definitely agree with what Travis said. Like, I did watch this one a lot, but for me, honestly, I actually really didn't like 3 as much. I like the oscillating fan stuff, but 2, for me, 2 is where it's at. I watched 2. I've seen it so many times. Rewatching it, I'm like, this is so much better than I remembered. Like, I love all of it. There's so many different cameras and all of that. But with Paranormal Activity, and I totally forgot, aging myself here, but I was in my first master's program when this came out, and I remember seeing a bunch of trailers, and I don't remember that until you mentioned it, how it didn't show us anything. We were just like seeing these people flail in their seats, and we're just like, why? I need to see it. So
Yeah.
that was definitely in there. And I think for me, and I am a huge, huge fan of Cloverfield, by the way. I've rewatched that a ton, and every time I watch it, I'm like, how can this capture my attention this many times in a row with like, and I always have to be doing something where I'm watching a movie usually, but that's one of the few ones that I can just watch it and be like, this is, and what a great way to, incorporate people who are like, you care about them because you're at this party with them. They're being social, and that's why they have the camera. It brings it back to like McPherson tape. Like, why did they have it? They were at a birthday party and they had a camera out. That's why. So it didn't have anything to do with what was going on. This movie did have to do with what was going on. That's why they had the camera. But I really do enjoy this movie. I hate all of these things that Micah does throughout it, but I do really like, this all you could do is move a door. I'm like, oh my God, shut the up. And he doesn't listen to her. And I did write down, there is 11 times that I write down, nope, leave now, nope, call exorcist. So like, it is very frustrating rewatching this one. Like, I'm terrified at times, but like, it's also like, for me, when it gets to the last 30 minutes, I'm just like, I'm here for it. And I could probably just fast forward and just watch that last 30 minutes, because I think it's some of the best cinema of just like keeping you engaged the whole time. And I forgot how much they tie it to, like, the Ouija board says goodbye Diane, but he actually looks up a girl named Diane and something similar happens to her, and that was the explanation of why they didn't want to call, like, why he didn't want to call the exorcist. But when he doesn't take her out of the car 25 minutes left, and she's like, I want to go. Get her
Bruh.
out. You've already seen her lose her sense of self outside. So that could happen again.
Dude.
Because I was like, that's like when he finally is like, let's go. I'm like, yes. And then he doesn't, he's like, I'll go pack. No, go out now. There's so many times where I'm like, I would have left there. But that's the movie, and Oren was working full time while making this movie, which is awesome. If you haven't watched it, the found footage newish documentary on Shudder is so great. And he has a really cool interview with him where he didn't even know until even the debut, like until it was about to come out. He still had his job, but he had to like fly out places. So he almost got fired, or he did get fired, and then he like made bank at the box office the first weekend. So like because of the advertising. So I love that because it kind of shows like this dude who just worked full time just was like, I'm gonna make this in my free time, and then and now he's like, and I don't have to work. But I think that's really cool when she's grabbed out of bed and everything. And I think if I wanted to put on like a if somebody was like, it's not deep at all, or like it's it's nothing, you don't care. But I'm like, but for Katie, for me, if you didn't even believe in Paranormal Activity, and I'm not going to say, this was a friend of mine who I was in college with who went to see it with me, I remember, and she said that like maybe Katie's demon, it could be a demon, sure, but it could also be the demons of our past and how they follow us through life and how they sometimes lead us into like these toxic relationships with people that we don't think we can do better than. Enter Micah. But like there's that in it, and I feel like she has a lot of trauma, and I've been through a lot of trauma, so like I really like Katie's character because of that. And should she have moved in with him and not told him? No, like that's the only part of the movie where I'm like, he was right. In that moment when he's like, well, you could have told me the 5th date or the 50th date, and she didn't. So she should have left the house immediately when stuff started to happen and taken him out of the equation, and I mean, I'm not like, oh darn, he died, but I think that I also love the first one even more because of the second one. It's hard for me to debate just one. I do like 3. I just really like 2 because it's the same timeline, like they overlap. So when you watch it, I've watched it where I start 1 and then I go to 2 and then I go back to 1 and go back to 2 and then I go back to 1 and back to 2. Like if you can do it. It's really fun if you have like
That's cool.
time and you're a house goblin like me. You can take the time to do that. But it is very fun when and then you could even, and then of course you could watch 3 first and then kind of intersperse 1 and 2. So there's all these different ways to watch found footage because they tell us the time. And like you said, the counter, every time the counter would go up and I'm like, she's standing there over him like for like 2 hours. This is so chilling. Like that was really scary to me. And so that's my spiel. I'll shut up now.
I think I know.
Great spiel.
Great spiel. Clay and Jeremy are going to jump in there, but I do have to say I gave Micah the benefit of the doubt for way longer in this viewing because I was like, I'm going to try. I'm going to see.
Right. Same.
But
Of course,
I made it to like I justify a lot of his stuff until the Ouija board, and then like his whole attitude of like, babe, why should you play, babe? Like, why are you mad at me, babe?
I didn't even buy it.
I'm like, are you kidding me, dude? Like,
God damn it!
Like, that was
dude, no money changed hands even.
Yeah, like come on.
You said
you go out and get the most creepy freaking looking Ouija board ever. It is. That's true. It's not.
And then
like, dude, this Ouija board is sick. Like,
right?
That's more of a reason to get it out of the house, bro.
He keeps bringing it back. Like even after they decide that we're not gonna, he's like, but I just want you to like help me figure this out.
Help me figure this out.
That's so annoying.
It's so annoying. He is the worst, and that's also a relatable situation because that's totally a real dude. That dude exists, and a lot of unfortunate women are in relationships with that dude.
Yep.
God, I hate that dude.
God, that
but you
dude's
know what?
just
The other thing that makes me think of is that scene, because I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt too, but that scene actually made me really mad when I rewatched it because I'm like, they don't ever talk about the fire.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did you not leave the house knowing that something spontaneously started burning in your fucking living room. Like
Not
what?
something, Stephanie. A Ouija board.
Ouija
A
board.
Ouija board.
Just straight
Sure,
up
sorry. A
didn't
Ouija board.
tell her that happened.
Yeah, he just watched the footage and was like, I'm gonna keep
It's
that
like, I'm
one
gonna
to
keep
myself."
that to myself.
Keep going. I'm not even going to show her this one because she doesn't want to see it anymore. Then I'll use
this
that as
doesn't
an
help my case
excuse.
at all.
Well, you didn't want to see it, remember?
Yeah.
Oh
He'd
my
have a
God.
contract. He'd have some contract language about that. Well, you said.
Also-
Oh, you fuck.
I'm sorry, guys, but one more thing.
You're
one
not
more thing.
sorry,
I
you
swear
son of a bitch.
I'm not sorry. Old me maybe would have been like, old me who didn't believe in the supernatural as current media does now, would have probably made it further in a moment of like, no, it's fine. Probably like to the night when all the doors slam and like the footprints and stuff, I probably would have finally been like, okay, let's get out of
Oh
here.
my God.
But like knew me instantaneously. Like I heard one knock and my girlfriend's like, hey, I might be followed by a demon. I'd be like, we're going to the church. Let's do it. We're done. Nope.
Like
not
cue
doing
that reel that pops up of that guy walking downstairs with his suitcase. It's like, nope.
Yep.
Hard pass.
none
Hard
of that.
pass.
That'd be me
We're
now.
gonna
My wife
dunk you
would
in
be
whole
like,
water and we're gonna burn the house down.
yep. My wife
for
would be like, I
me-
saw a shadow figure, and I'd be like, oh, we're done.
Yeah.
Nope. We're on.
The first time that I genuinely would leave, and I wrote it down because I knew that would come up. When I wrote the note, when she stands there for 2 hours and stares at him and walks down the stairs and has no recollection of it. That part, like, no, she doesn't remember. She didn't have control of her body and she stood there for 2 hours. No, let's drop
Exactly.
you off at a church. Let's fucking go.
hmm
We leave, we
Yep.
contact the hospital and the church.
Right,
And we're
right.
getting this
You don't have to get the
solved
exorcism
tomorrow.
yet. Like, that's fine if you're worried about that because of the other girl. Like, oh, wait, I don't think you would have used the Ouija board yet. That was before then. So you would have been out.
Yep.
Also, if you're willing to entertain the psychic, like, just let the exorcist come. Like
Yeah,
what?
just
Right, right.
And you can even just
just
say you're
do
not going to
it.
be there. You know, like
Goddamn.
that's what old Clay would have done. Old Clay, who is much less patient and empathetic, might have just been like, I'm just gonna bounce then. I'll let you do your thing. I don't believe in any of this. I don't want to be a part of it, but you can
Right.
do what you need to do. But like, why not even just at least do that? You know?
yeah, maybe do that. Come
Well,
on.
new me now. I'm Wiccan, so I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking saging this house. I'm putting mirrors on the windows. I'm doing all of
Yeah.
that. Like, I'm doing what the girl did, the housekeeper nanny did in two. Like, she's
Mhm.
all saging it. Now I watch it. I'm like, fuck yeah, you sage that. She
She was ready.
Did.
she was right.
Yeah,
Use all the right herbs in all the right places.
That's right.
Nice.
She came with all the she came with the heat, and the demon did not like that very much.
No, it did not.
But hey, she did her best. It's not really her fault that nobody
saved
listened to her.
Yeah.
Jeremy, what do you think about this movie? I genuinely have no idea.
Well, look, this is, of course, a nostalgic movie for me. Came out when I was a senior in high school, and I do obviously. I know I'm a baby.
Your
I'm just a
baby.
baby boy.
A wee baby.
Yes. Yes, just a wee baby. But of course, I do have to tell the story of when I first saw this movie. I went to see this with Carmen, the foreign exchange student from Spain, who was living with my family at the time. Hola Carmen, voy a contar esta historia sobre ti. Saldremos cuando Megan y yo finalmente vayamos de visita. But anyway, I went to see this with Carmen, and because the beginning and the end had no credits, and because the movie went to a lot of pains to make this feel like a real thing that happened, I had her convinced for some weeks that it was a real thing that happened, and she was so freaked out the whole time. So that was great. But
Nice.
you
That's
know,
cruel. That is cruel.
It's look, if you could have convinced Clay that this was a real thing that had happened, would you have?
That I can't even entertain that as a hypothetical because there would have been no fucking way.
Look,
Like,
we
Clay-
know it's a yes. We're not
Clay
saying
would
that
have
you have to
convinced
believe
me.
it.
Clay would have convinced
fine.
me that this was, and
Clay-
I would have bought it. It's the other way.
Fine. Clay, vouch for me.
Yeah, oh yeah, I would have done that for sure.
Obviously, it's
I
a sibling
did do that.
relationship.
I did do that. I even once like made some pretty concerted efforts to convince my parents the moon landing was fake, just so that they would tell Travis that.
You did right before Thanksgiving, and then I had to go home for Thanksgiving and be like, and my dad had to be like, hey, you know what? I have some ideas about the moon landing. I'm like, what? Clayton, what did you do to me?
What have you done? But I feel like this movie is like the best case scenario for what otherwise would have been like a terrible movie. Like this movie gets, I'll say, a D. Because like, look, it passes. It's 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 an engrossing movie. As with, there are three main problems I have with found footage movies. One of which this movie solves, which most don't. One is like, as with all found footage movies, I find myself wondering who was supposed to have edited this together, and like, why did they keep all the marital, well, not marital, but like the couple's spats and like all the arguing and whatever. Like, it makes for an effective film, I guess, but like, whatever. And then the other thing is that the cinematography usually sucks. But this does solve one found footage problem, which I think is the main found footage problem of like, why are you still filming? But it does that by making Micah an insufferable idiot. Like,
Yes.
I want him to die so bad by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And then he does. So, well, maybe. If he shows
No,
up in the other movies, I don't know.
No, he's dead.
He certainly does.
He's
Very
He's
dead.
fully dead.
It
Good.
literally
He
says,
deserves
it says the last frame says Micah's body was discovered on blank date.
October 11th.
Super
Well,
dead.
thank goodness. Because, like, I mean, honestly, on a watching of this movie, I find myself wondering, is this possibly the story of a demon trying to get Katie out of a relationship with a schmuck?
The demon's like, you can do better, honey.
It's like,
The
you
romantic-
can do way better. Come on.
Paranormal Activity, the romantic comedy. Yeah.
God.
Just needs a different score, and it's there.
Yeah, set it to like,
want it.
Full
Thank you.
House type of music, and you got a hit there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna be an absolute
Clay,
banger.
Clay, what do you think of Paranormal Activity?
Yeah, I love Paranormal Activity. I agree with you, Jeremy, that those are occasionally problems with found footage. I think there's lots of found footage movies that fix them, not just like a couple, but this one doesn't have any of those problems to me. I actually think the cinematography sucks, but like that's on purpose. Micah sucks at everything, including being a human being. So
He sure does.
he's not a good cinematographer, and I don't think that's a huge surprise to anybody.
Sure.
It also doesn't read to me from a story perspective as it is cut together at all. It reads as like it picks up where he picked up, where he continued the film. It doesn't feel edited or doctored, and to me that is why the marital spats and stuff are still in there. There's other Paranormal Activity movies that solve this problem in different ways. Stephanie brought up number 2, which solves it by having like an in-home security system watching at all times. And then 3, where they literally are video editors. That is their day job, is to like film weddings and stuff. So they are editing. They do know how, and they're doing it very intentionally. And I think for that reason, that one is in many ways the scariest one, which is maybe why it's my favorite. But I want to talk about the trilogy as a whole once we get to the other side of this. Long story short, love Paranormal Activity, hate Micah. Hashtag died too late.
So easy to hate.
So easy
Yeah.
to hate. So utterly
Which,
hateable.
I think was exactly the character that they were trying to aim for. So
Yeah.
they pull it off.
Hashtag Team Katie. And
Hashtag
Team
Team
Demon.
Katie. Yeah.
Yeah. Pre-demon possession for me.
Right.
Sure. Sure.
Like Team Katie in the later films, I'm not hashtag Team Katie, but
No,
Yeah.
because she does just steal a baby
yeah,
in number
Not
2. Shows
we
up
don't want.
cold
no.
stealing babies.
You have more
and that's
empathy
not
for
good.
her. You have more empathy for her in 1 after you see 2, because you know, like, she really didn't have, like, this wasn't her fault. Like, something,
Yeah.
you know. So I think that's kind of a cool way to, like, when you go back to the first one, if you've seen the second one recently, I think you can even attach more to her and her story.
Did anyone else
I
get
agree.
the sense, like maybe we're just nerds, but did anyone else get the sense that this couple knew way too little about like demons and stuff?
No.
I mean,
I think this was
they
pre-internet
seemed to
in a lot of
know.
ways.
Yeah, they seem to know like a normal amount about
Yeah,
demons.
I think it's
Now,
I think it's
sure.
a normal amount. I think because it does show us, like, we see Micah that he's a day trader. We see he likes guitar. We see that she beads, and you know, somebody who's gone through this type of thing, either they're going to be really attracted to it, or they're never going to want to see a movie like that. So she's
Yep.
probably like a rom-commy fantasy girl, and he's probably like douchebag, like, I gotta watch all the stupid, you know, stuff and drink my beer, whatever, you know. So he's probably watching like the slapstick comedy action movies, which
You
is
know,
like not
he's
a bad
seen
thing. It's
every
just
single Jackass movie.
oh,
for
totally,
sure.
he has. Absolutely. So I think that because they throw in those things, I think that, and she's going to school to be a teacher. So, you know, like, she might be into like true crime, maybe, but I don't think she'd be really into horror and paranormal. And he's definitely not either. So I think for them, I think they do a good job of giving us enough about them to be like, yeah, that might be their level of, you know, if they don't watch horror, which is like, who are you? But, you know, that's just me.
That was like
Yeah.
a realization I had
Agreed.
like halfway through the film where I was having this thought of like, how do they not know this stuff? And then I was
Yeah.
like, how do you know this stuff? Come on.
Yeah, just, how do they not know this stuff? Like, oh right, they're normal.
Yeah,
They're normal. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, okay.
They're the baseline.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. We are on the edges of the bell curve here on Fermented Fiction so often. But hey, that's where we want to be, because that's where all you wonderful fermented folks are. And we're going to continue to be that. We're going to continue to talk about Paranormal Activity on the other side of our 5-minute break. Let's all go do whatever we need to do in that time. For me, it's going to be feeding my cat, who is screaming at me right now. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you in 5. Stephanie, go ahead and mute your mic just so we don't accidentally hear any Paranormal Activity we're not supposed to. See you guys in 5. Hello, Fermented Folks. Welcome to another episode of Fermented Fiction, the first of our new season, and I believe it's season 4. The show where we drink beer and argue with each other and bring on really awesome creative guests.
If you'll permit me to go a little bit outside the box. Once upon a time, apparently, people used to sniff mummy remains, powdered mummy remains, like cocaine. So I think 3 lines of powdered mummy remains, if you can get to that as well. Yeah, that'll get you right to really enjoy the movie, you know?
Dave told us all about making a mead, and I talk shit about Tom Bombadil, as I am wont to do whenever people bring up Lord of the Rings.
You would. You should.
And then that's
Everybody
exactly what he
freaking
made.
chill about Tom Bombadil, or I'll get unreasonably upset.
So, in your assessment, what did you think of the everyone kind of paired off, or at least a number of people did, like romantically? How'd you feel about that? Did that seem really forced and dumb to you, or?
Tom Bombadil is a merry old fellow with his bright blue jacket and his boots are yellow. Right?
It's our yellow.
Right.
Imagine discovering mummy remains and oh my god, these ancient figures. Dude, what if we crushed this and snorted it, yo? I bet we'd get fucked up.
Let's talk for a moment about the fucking all-star cast in this movie. We have Ewan McGregor, slaughtering it the entire time. Main character energy, top to bottom. You can't argue with it. Women want him, men want him. Everybody wants Ewan McGregor. Okay? If you don't agree with that, you're lying to yourself.
Apparently she had a backstory, but they cut it because she's like very like hard-nosed at the beginning. And then like, I will say another pro of this movie is like their chemistry is hot. And like, I feel like if they didn't have that chemistry, I would have been like, ugh. Because she says at one point, she's like, oh, it's the apocalypse. What are we going to do? Like, fuck. And he's like, and then later when they like are like kissing, if they didn't have chemistry and if it was like two lesser actors, I think it would have been like an eye roll, like felt cheesy, but like you feel their bond.
The Langoliers themselves were originally going to be portrayed by puppets. And I think maybe they should have. Maybe they should have.
Dude, that's amazing.
There's no maybe about that.
And I wish that I could say that there was something greater happening here than the war diary of a broken man living as sort of this White Tower academic with all of his friends sitting inside the Eagle and Child drinking beer and pretending like, you know, Magic Lion Jesus isn't really silly. Because, I mean, it is. If we can just all be very honest with each other.
The Lord's work out there. Good job.
I like to think that I am. Most people aren't big enough, but I am. I'm willing to step up, you know?
Yeah. Dedicate that time.
You're
willing to dedicate that time.
The time, the money, all of it.
That was so painful. It's one of those painful things.
Oh, that was so
good.
That was so good. We've never been so savagely attacked by any author on their show. It's incredible.
Such a bop.
I know. I'm jamming right now.
Yeah, Clay made
I
a
tell
bop.
you that. Ooh. Oh yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back,
Hello.
Stephanie.
I am here.
It is the second half of the show, which is the time when I get to ask stupid questions that indulge my curiosities. And hopefully they're good, and hopefully we have a good conversation around them. I'm sure we will. A couple things came up that I'd like to talk about that I don't think we've talked about a lot on the show before. But I want to start with keeping the train rolling that we were kind of discussing earlier. Found footage. Yeah. As a genre, it's pretty divisive, I feel like. I have strong opinions on it that I will end with. I've already said a few of them, but I would like to ask three small questions that hopefully turn into a bigger, broader answer. One, what are some of your favorite aspects of the found footage genre? Two, what do you think doesn't work with the found footage genre? And three, what are some of your favorite found footage films? So one more repeat time. This is the teacher in me. Never ask a question once. No one listens. What are some of your favorite aspects of the found footage genre? What are some of your least favorite things or things that you don't think work? And then what are some of your favorite found footage films? Stephanie, starting with you.
No, that's so mean. Shit.
It's always the guest.
Oh, I forgot that. I'm like
Every
sitting
time.
here thinking of my movies. It's hard for me to use words like what aspects of it. I just watch a movie and I just really like it. But I think like trying to break down some of my favorites, I think simplicity, I think relatability to like the shots and what's happening, especially like newer ones. I think one of my favorites does things really badly and really well. Like I don't love cameras being super shaky in found footage. I think it takes away from it unless it's done just like very briefly. So I guess that would be something I don't love about some of them. And I think sometimes the lighting is just like, okay, it's supposed to be dark, but I have to be able to see you, you know, to be able to watch this movie. But I think that if they're too abstract, I don't love them. I love more murdery, true crimey, horror, very horror ones that versus other ones. I don't know if that is kind of what you're looking for. Since you are a teacher, do you have a follow-up question to one of those? That
Probably many, but yeah, what do you mean by abstract, I guess? Because I'm thinking I agree with you, but I'm wondering, like,
So I
let me,
don't know
yeah.
if people consider Skinamarink a found footage film, but I
Mm,
take it that way when I watch it.
mhm.
And I hated it the first time I watched it. Then I watched it stoned and I liked it a lot more. But I do think that if you're sober watching it, it's just like, okay, what this shot means a lot to this person that made this. And as you know, and as I think I appreciate it because they didn't give a shit if people liked it.
Yeah.
You know, in that way. And I'm trying to write more like that and not write for people. And that's hard for me, but I'm a newer writer. But I'm trying to like just throw it to the wind and just go for it. But I think that if you are trying to get people to watch it and I'm being critical of it, I don't love that. I don't really know what's going on and I get confused. And I do like dialogue. I do like things going on because I get racing thoughts. So like having something engaging enough where there's not too much silence. I don't love that in films either, unless it's like The Quiet Place where it's part of the plot. Like that makes sense. But like, you know what I mean? I think that would be kind of what I mean. Like the more practical it is and lower budget, with the exception of Cloverfield, because that still to me is like a favorite movie, but it's hard for me to consider it because the camera is so good in it that it is found footage. But it is, totally is. It's on its own as being this other one because of how it's made and cinematically and being a blockbuster and all that, and just the budget. But I think that when they do something clever and it's off screen, that's probably another favorite aspect too, of just like the oscillating fan in Paranormal 3. It's like you don't know what, like it's one of the most like how did they think of that? I didn't think of that, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's really clever. And it's like it's such a small thing you can do, but it gives you such suspense. So I think the more suspenseful the better. And I think that's kind of the aspects that I like and that I think work the best and not work.
Clay and I were just talking about that shot earlier and how I just remember when it got set up and I'm like sitting in the theater. I just remember being like, almost like grabbing my seat like a roller coaster ride of like, oh no. like I'm just like, oh, when's it gonna come? And I was almost like angry of like, oh, this is such a good tool, but I'm also terrified right now, and they got me. And I thought that was really cool. But Clay, what are some of your favorite aspects, least favorite, and favorite found footage films?
I didn't give my favorite films.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I want to I'll throw a few in and then I'll shut up.
Do it.
But I have a lot, but I will. The first Hell House, I really enjoyed.
Yes!
I already talked about Host. Hell House, yes, Hell House.
You are the only other person I've ever met who's watched Hell House.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh, I've seen them all.
Oh.
Well, we're gonna have to have a friend date where we hash it out because I have not really talked to anyone either that has seen it. So I would love to do that sometime. But Hell House LLC specifically, and I really did like the Carmichael Manor one. It's very different. You don't need to see the original, really. You could actually flip them and see them the different way, which I like when movies do that. I would say another few of my favorites are, I'm looking at a list, I'm totally cheating. Catfish, one of the first found footage films that a lot of people forget about. Catfish is not horror. It's just found footage. It's a fake documentary. It's not really. I'm confusing it. I have it in my found footage folder because it feels like found footage, but it's not. It's just documentary MTV. That was like the first time someone did that. Blackwell Ghost series, another series that did things very simplistically, but I think it worked really well.
I like Blackwell.
And I really like The Bay. That's another one that some people haven't seen. And at the house that October built, also known as the Blue Skeleton, phenomenal. Those two together are excellent. There's ones I don't have on the list because I'll never watch them again. So I guess you could say those are good as Megan is Missing. It was just horrible and lots of rape, and I don't love that. I saw that one and done. And not necessarily Searching and Missing. Those are thrillers, not horror, but they are like everything on the screen. So those are some. If you haven't, I gave you a couple that aren't as popular. So hopefully people will hear that and they'll add to their watch.
Yeah. Those are all good options. I like Blackwell. You've totally met someone who watches LLC.
Sorry,
LLC.
you.
Hell House is awesome. Maybe we could just do it next season, Stephanie. We could have you back on and do Hell House LLC.
Do it.
I could put that movie down too. Like it's kind of like paranormal because it's like found footage. You can find shit to put down if you have to. At first, when I noticed that that's how you guys do the show, I was like, "That's crazy. I'm not going to know beforehand. I can't prep. I got to prep both ways then." And that's what I did.
Yeah.
I was ready. But I would love to come back on and do Hell House. Hell yeah.
We could also do the whole series, which provides a lot more fodder for putting it down because a couple of them are terrible.
Trash. Oh,
there's some
that's
bad
my
ones.
bread and butter. Really?
Oh, I forgot my newest favorite one. Sorry, Shelby Oaks.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that one yet, but I've heard many things.
Excellent. I really liked it.
I have heard from my kind of film snobbery friends that it's everything wrong with filmmaking, and I've heard from horror people that it's good. So I just don't know what to believe. It's not found footage
though. It's just doc style. Sorry, I get confused when they do doc style. It's technically not found footage. I think they find footage in the documentary they're making.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that counts.
A little bit found footage.
It's adjacent.
Yeah. It's like Lake Mungo, which is like
Lake Mungo. That's
Lake
so
Mungo's
good.
awesome, and it's
So
very
good.
similar to Lake Mungo because there's like interviews and stuff. So I don't know if you can technically call Lake Mungo found footage, but I don't know. I still put it in the same category because it's still that same kind of style. And I mean,
We're on the same page then.
Yeah, I would say Blackwell House is kind of in that similar vein as well.
Yeah,
where
that's
it's like,
fair. Yeah, mock doc.
Yeah, mock doc counts in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
hell yeah.
And on that note, you've pretty much named all my favorite ones that I would list off that are like not in the mainstream, except for one. There's one found footage movie I just discovered on a random Shudder binge one day that is an absolute banger, and nobody talks about it. I've written a review for it, but it's fucking awesome, and everybody should watch it. It's called Butterfly Kisses. That movie is fucking sweet. You should go check it out. It's got a great premise and a great monster. I'm a huge fan of like fun folklore. Like if you hit me with a folklore creature that I've never heard of, you've already got me. So the concept in this one, I just have to tell you, is the Geist or ghost. You know, that's like the Germanic word for ghost is Geist. So it's a type of Geist, and where it lives is in the liminal space between your vision and like your peripheral. So when you think you see a strange shape out the side of your eye, there's a Germanic belief that there is that shape there. It is this type of Geist. And if you look at it, if you look long enough, that Geist will appear to you, but you have to do it without blinking. So the idea is if you look at this Geist long enough without blinking, it will appear to you, but then it starts to follow you around. So they do this by capturing it with a camera, and then it kind of lives in the camera lens. So every subsequent time they turn the camera on, it gets closer and closer and closer. It's a really good horror movie. Definitely recommend it. Butterfly Kisses. It's on a sticky note. Hey, puppy.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's one of the sticky notes that doesn't just get randomly tossed asunder. But I definitely recommend watching Butterfly Kisses. That's one of my favorites. Otherwise, Lake Mungo, if you haven't seen that, is great as well, and that's free on Shudder. Both of these movies are free on Shudder. Aside from that, we've listed them all, but like Cloverfield's a big one, obviously. I really do recommend watching at least the main trilogy of Paranormal Activity, but even the other spinoffs are pretty fun. Like if you like Paranormal Activity, you'll probably like them, you know? I do think 1 through 3 though, there's good in all of those. My favorite, I think the scariest one is definitely 3, just because I'm more attached to the characters, so therefore I care a little bit more if they die, but I also know they're gonna die, and I think that ending sequence is just fucking phenomenal. Also, I gotta speak to that oscillating shot because it is so good. It's the tensest little setup ever in a found footage film. I can't think of one that's more tense than that like single shot in terms of a single shot. And I love that they don't abuse it. They don't overuse it. They don't like bash us with it. They use it here and there, but the only time it's actually scary is one very subtle scene, and it's fucking awesome. It's just a quick little callback to earlier in the story. It's just a great piece of writing, great piece of horror cinema. It's just that little scene where the sheet is standing there as a ghost, and then it just drops and nothing's under it. So great. Definitely go check that out though if you haven't seen it. So yeah. Aspects that work. I agree with what you said in your debate, Travis. I think the best thing about found footage, well, the two best things about found footage, it's the closeness of of the audience to the POV. You literally feel like you are the person. So you're watching it from a very different sensibility than you would as an outside observer. It kind of removes that feeling that you're watching a movie, ironically, even though you know very much that you're watching something on a camera because it tells you that. But at the same time, you feel like you're watching something real, even when you know for a fact that you're not. And that removal of the like fourth wall is pretty paramount to the suspense that a found footage movie can capitalize upon without the benefit of special effects, without the benefit of multiple camera angles, without the benefit of, a lot of the times A-list actors. That's another cool thing about found footage. This is a very common medium for new actors to get some footing in a really well-produced, like, quality movie that is viewed by a lot of audiences and has a good directorial team, a good score, a good everything else behind the scenes, but it doesn't necessarily have that emphasis on the cast all the time. And that's kind of cool as well. And then I also think found footage does a really good job of something else. And now I'm drawing a blank on it. So I'm going to let Jeremy talk for a little bit because I had another point, but I've forgotten it.
We'll come back to it. Jeremy?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, found footage does one thing very, very well, which I think everybody's kind of touched on, which is that it feels so much more real than other genres where there's so much like intentionality behind what you're seeing and hearing.
That was it, Jeremy. With realism. That was it.
With the scripting and like the framing and everything, it feels so much more real than other genres, especially when you have performances that are too wooden to be fake. Like they don't feel like performances. And I think that's something where this movie in particular really shines. And it's something that falls apart when you start to involve like known actors. Like when you see I don't even know who's in a lot of horror movies.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. If you spot Nicolas Cage, you're like, oh right, this is a movie.
He's probably been in a found footage film.
This is straight up a movie.
Yeah.
When you spot an actor, you're like, oh right, this is straight up a movie, and this is fake, and I can dissociate from this.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there are the drawbacks of found footage that I have touched on before, which is like, why are you still filming? Most found footage films fail to answer even that basic question.
It's the biggest problem with most of them.
I
would even say like Cloverfield, which I think is one of the best.
Yeah.
Does not answer
Cloverfield.
It does not answer
you would have dropped this camera like
so
6 times.
You would have dropped the camera to run for your goddamn life
from literal Godzilla.
It's crazy that you still have this rolling. Like, what kind of battery life do you even have that this is still happening?
Yeah.
Okay. Then, of course, there's the thing where the cinematography is shit. Usually. Almost entirely. Like, from beginning to end in this movie, with the exception of, like, the bedroom scenes, which are, like, that's where you're glued to the screen because you're watching every square inch of that shit. It's crazy. But then, of course, there is which I mentioned before, the part where the meta narrative is kind of fucked. Like, who is even supposed to have put this together as a movie if this is supposed to be a real thing? Like, who got their hands on like evidence from a crime scene that they decided like, yes, this deserves a cinematic release? It's like if The Lord of the Rings, which J.R.R. Tolkien was supposed to have just found and translated into English, also included like a grisly murder of our modern day. And we're like, oh, that's why is
That's
this
what
kind
happened
of
to
falls
Theoden.
apart for me in that
I
sense.
I think there is a couple that answer that. If I can jump in here, Jeremy, and talk
Please
about
do.
kind of-
But Butterfly Kisses answers that because it takes the, sorry to interrupt Travis, but just because I'm the only one that knows about Butterfly Kisses,
That's true.
it does that because it is actually a guy. The premise of it is basically the answer to that question, which is the guy doing it. His goal is to prove that this is real because he found this footage and he's making a documentary. So it's like a documentary with the found footage as a
Right.
part of it.
It's so
And
cool.
it includes interviews and stuff. He even gets a cameo. It's awesome in the movie. I love this movie, you guys. But he gets a cameo from the guy who created Blair Witch. And he gets the guy from Blair Witch to like do an interview for his documentary, and he thinks it's going to be like helpful for him. And the guy from Blair Witch is like, "This guy's a fucking piece of shit."
It's so good. I like when I watched that movie, I was not expecting it to be that good.
Oh, you watched it, Stephanie.
You watched it?
I did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Hell yes.
Oh, and another one I forgot real quick. Gajum Asylum. Sorry. I just totally forgot about that one. It's so good. It's a Korean. They go to a mental hospital, an asylum, and it's really good. And they're live streaming in like a tent outside, and everybody has cameras on their heads inside, so they're exploring different parts. Really, really good.
Can you
Wreck
email that to me
was
so
good.
I can put the name in the show notes? Because I
Yes.
will watch that one as well. It will go on my version of a sticky note, which is my notes file in
Absolutely.
Yeah, Rec in the same way, kind of Rec. If we're going for it, like what was Rec Spanish? I think it was from Spain. REC, not the American remake. Quarantine. It's not nearly as good. The original Spanish one is like super creepy, good zombie movie. But I think Jeremy. Okay, I had a thought. It was a mild pushback, but maybe not. I would like to dig maybe into the cinematography thing, and anyone jump in there if you want. Like. Bad cinematography. I can't.
I don't get it either. I'm sorry. I'm going to go with Travis on this. I'm like, you can't have good cinematography because it's not produced.
But
it's not meant to be produced, so it's going to look like shit.
And here's the thing. Here's what I'm thinking of. Like a director of photography for a found footage film, to me, almost has possibly a more difficult task of like getting a frame to look good, but also intentionally making it look shitty. Like that to me is like, that's kind of like a hard thing to pull off. And when it happens well, that's good cinematography because that's like you're getting a real rustic feel, but intentionally so. And so when that frame looks good and like pulls me into the story, I'm like, that's actually really good cinematography, not bad cinematography.
Look, it's intentional and like it works for this movie specifically where they're doing it because like Micah's a shit and he's going to be shit at everything, including cinematography. He shouldn't be good at that, and it draws you into the realism at the expense of looking at something pretty. So like. So there is
that's
that.
What I'm saying,
like,
is I think like the intention is not
trade-off.
The intent. There's not a trade-off. This is what I'm saying. The intention isn't to look pretty. The intention is to look like a handheld cam.
Now,
so like if the purpose is to look like a handheld
can
and it does well, isn't that achieving the goal? Like Cloverfield, I think has some amazing shots that still look like handheld cameras. And I think even one of my favorites I've mentioned a few times now is Chronicle, which both has great cinematography, including multiple view cameras, justifiably so, because it's a superhero film. And also it answers the question of like, why are they still recording? Well, because this superhero kid is a psychopath and he wants to film his like villain origin story. And you would if you were that. But anyway, you have a pushback, and then I have a couple more things and then another question. Taking a lot of time.
I was going to push back, but then you brought up my pushback, which was Chronicle, which was bringing in a story reason for there to be something like cool to look at, and a reason why it's even being looked at, well, filmed anyway, because Chronicle is one of my favorite found footage films because it answers the question of like, why are you still filming? Oh, well, because this person is a psychopath and an egomaniac and they have telekinesis. So like,
why wouldn't they
finale
film
has so many cameras just floating around them because he wants that shit to look cool.
Yeah,
true.
And that's
I don't even
incredible.
That's not even the best shot. I think the best shot of that movie is his first robbery, when he like goes from handheld to like throwing it away, and it like goes to the top and follows him from a bird's eye perspective. Chronicle is such a beautiful film.
It's incredible. It really pushes the found part of the found footage, like exploring what is actually being filmed that you could conceivably get your hands on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say, and then we'll move on, because sorry, Stephanie, we hogged the mic for a bit here. I think
just have one last thing to say, but I can say it after you.
Guest jump in whenever. My last thing is the best aspects I think everyone's touched on. I think the worst aspects too is that it's hard to give a reason for why people continue to film. But I think what makes found footage click, the one thing that no one's mentioned, is I think the best found footage movies aren't necessarily like, why are you still continuing to film, but like, why is this the medium? And like, so Cloverfield, we don't have a great reason why they're filming. Paranormal Activity, we kind of do. Chronicle, we do. All these things. But I'm more like, why did you film it as a found footage film? And there's a lot of movies where I'm like, this would have been much better just as a movie. Like clearly you did this because it's cheap. But when you see a movie that you're like, in any other medium, I would not get the same effect. I think that's what makes found footage films great. And I think Paranormal Activity does that. Definitely Cloverfield does that, because it's like, it puts you in the city as it's like crumbling around and you barely see the monster. That was really powerful. And Chronicle as well, where it's like, we've seen the superhero movie 1,000 times. Here's a different take on it that you're not going to see anywhere else. So I think when it's like, it had to be this medium, I think that's like the coolest thing. But Stephanie.
I don't think, I'm kind of on my computer. In the background, I put stuff up when you guys say it's just cool. I don't think I've seen Chronicle.
Oh, yeah.
This does not. I'm watching the trailer and I'm like, this doesn't look familiar. I don't remember this. This does not. I don't know anything. I'm actually really happy no one said anything really spoily about it, because I really have not seen this. So I'm gonna put it on my list. I'm gonna watch it this weekend. I'm pumped. What I did want to say is, you're not gonna like me after I say this. It's okay. You won't want me back, but I'm gonna go out with a bang. I remembered why I shut Cloverfield out of my life for like 3 years after I found out the information I'm about to tell you, if you don't already know.
Please don't.
So Cloverfield is a movie where it makes you think, yeah, this is found footage. But I didn't know that, this random guy who says he's filming on a small portable camera is actually not filming on a consumer camcorder. They actually made a high-end digital camera look like a camcorder, and it was actually filmed on a camera that cost over $100K.
I mean, that makes sense.
And then no, but come on. Then they degraded it during post production so they can make it look like it was found footage, and that just pisses me off. You like, oh, we have a shitload more money than you fuckers making these Blair Witches and Paranormal Activities. So we corporate bitches are gonna get a couple people that people know, and that's like B-level actors. We're gonna put real great cameras out there, and then we're going to make it look a little shittier so you really like it and it gives you that blockbuster cinematic feel that a movie does. But we're going to do it and say it was found footage, and all you hipsters that love found footage are going to come see this in the theater, be like, oh my god, and you're going to fall in love with it. And we did, and I still love it. I really hate that fact. So
yeah,
you
fight the good fight, Stephanie, and I will be the guy that's just like, I'm still gonna buy the McDonald's.
It makes you feel
I'm still
better.
getting a
I
Big Mac.
I still recommend it. I
Cloverfield.
still love it. Cloverfield's still great. I just don't think they should market it as a found footage film. That's all.
That's fair.
Because it's not.
I agree.
You know, like
no, it's a blockbuster. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I won't
it was a
pretend.
damn good blockbuster. In Chronicle, I can't wait to watch it. I'm so happy. I rarely get movies on podcasts that I actually have not seen because I'm just a nerd. Like Butterfly Kisses, yeah, I had seen that, but Chronicle, I'm like, how did I miss that? Okay, but great.
Yeah, huge name actors that were not big at the time, like Michael B. Jordan.
Awesome.
No one knew about him, and
Dane
he's
Some people don't even know he was in Fruitvale Station, and I'm like, how do you not know he was in that? Like, he was incredible in that movie, and I need to see him
hear
in
of
this.
it until just now.
Damn,
you didn't know that Fruitvale Station had Michael B. Jordan in it because you didn't know it existed.
It is. It's excellent.
It is
Heartbreaking,
excellent,
but excellent.
Speaking of Cloverfield being misadvertised, I want to talk about. We've never talked about this on the show in depth. I have held in my back pocket a grudge against a comment Jeremy made a long time ago. Like a long time ago. Yeah, that all trailers are lies. And I want to talk about advertisements and trailers because I don't know if I necessarily believe some. I think some trailers are definitely lies. But I think there's an art to the movie trailer. And I just love to hear y'all's opinions on the Paranormal Activity ad because it was insane, and that was, what's the word? Catching fire. That's not the right term. Anyway, it'll never happen again. I think it's the second greatest.
Like lightning in a bottle. Is that what
lightning
you're
in a
trying to
bottle?
say?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's the second greatest horror movie advertisement in history, only behind Smile. Because Smile was awesome. And yeah, I just love to talk about what you think of trailers. Do you even watch them? Have you given up on them? Do you think they can be good? Lots of questions packed in there, but let's nerd out about trailers a bit. Stephanie?
I think if a trailer can get me to want to watch the movie that immediate, then hell yeah, I love the trailer. And I think some of them are great. And then some, the longer I watch it, I'm like, so am I going to not know anything going into this, or did you just spoil everything for me? I am a person that likes kind of a little summary before I go into a movie, especially if it's going to be complex. So seeing a trailer is kind of nice, and I forget things pretty easily. Like I can watch a movie over and over because I just look for different things. Like I'll pay attention to the cinematography, then I'll pay attention to the set design, and just like learning more and more about what goes into a film because I don't know. I've never worked on one, so it's always fascinating. I watch all the credits just to see like how many people were involved. And when I was a kid, I actually really liked watching trailers, and I made little trailers out of other trailers sometimes because I'd be like, this trailer would be really good if this part was cut out, and then I would cut it out and then show that to my friend instead, and then I would know something they didn't know going in, and they would experience the movie better and be like, see, I should have made trailers. But that was something I actually really wanted to do because I love music scores, and I also love like small little like music videos and trailers in that way. So I think that some movies have really been let down because they've brought people to a point where you expect this now, and it's completely different. So that's also something I feel very frustrated into, or they show you a clip that's never in the movie. Oh, I don't like that. Save that for the DVD for me, but I don't want that because like then you're just leading me on to think something else. I do love going back and watching old trailers before I pick hey, what do I want to watch tonight? I'll queue up like 2 or 3 trailers and watch them, and then I'll figure out what I'm in the mood for based on those. Because some of the old ones, the old trailers are where it's at. Back when you could go to the movie
old
theater.
90s trailers, yeah.
Oh, I love finding those on YouTube and watching them. I'll like queue up like 10 of my favorite movies and just watch the old trailers because maybe I don't have time to rewatch them all tonight. But that brings me so much joy. And like, yeah, California Raisins dancing across the screen, actual trivia that you don't have to play on your phone, that you yell out in the theater with people. Like that was fun. And those trailers now starring, like the guy who did almost all the trailers. He was incredible, and we all know him. You can hear him in your head.
So
in a world, yeah, like
in a
it's
world.
just so good.
In a world.
After the death of, just so
that was
many
good.
things like that were so great. So I think they've, I do like going along with that. The last thing I'll say before someone can jump in, it just like teasers. I actually really like teasers more than trailers now. That we actually get both. Because you get a teaser and it's kind of out of context, but you get a little bit of what the movie is. And sometimes it's not even with music, it's an actual scene from the movie. And I really enjoyed that. But there have been, there have been trailers where I've been like, wow, they really lowballed that and it was really good, but it was still like the trailer. And that's like, I think really where you want to land. You want to grab someone, but don't give away everything. And I wish more trailers could do that.
Jeremy.
Oh, well, I feel very called out, not only from getting the spotlight so early, but Travis, I am going to say, I think the advertising for Paranormal Activity was a lie because it showed nothing about the actual movie. Like there was
Did you jump in the theater though? Because I
didn't. I didn't. I watched it like, oh, they're moving the chandelier swinging. Like, oh, that's kind of spooky. But look, I think
I was 13, so
you were 13, Travis. I was a mature 17-year-old.
Oh, fuck all of you.
Mature.
I'm
sorry.
I'm just a baby.
mature.
I'm an enormous baby, everyone.
Anyway.
But what it is, look, I think it's, of course, the job of the people cutting together the trailers to put together the things that they think are sellable about a movie to make it sell. And that's obviously going to be a lie. I will, of course, refer to my favorite movie, Speed Racer, and the advertising for it, where the Wachowskis came off of the Matrix trilogy and did Speed Racer, a movie for children that was goddamn insane. And the advertising for it sold it as like some like almost like a gritty action movie when it super wasn't.
No.
And yeah, it is divorced from whatever the reality of the movie is basically every single time, to the point where you do get like Marvel movies showing things that fully never happen in the movie while they're advertising for it, because they're selling a vibe, not a movie.
Clay, jump in there before I got some thoughts, but I'll end.
Yeah. If you, with the exception of this statement right here, if you ever say that something is always true, you are always wrong. So there are certainly trailers that are not lies out there. Now, that said, many a trailer has ruined many a movie for me and other people. I agree with both of you. I agree with everybody who's spoken to. If you put a scene in there that's not in the fucking movie, then fuck you all of the way. Like,
Get the hell
you
outta
should
here.
not be making trailers. You don't deserve to be. That isn't in the movie. Don't tell me it's in the movie and establish that as an expectation. That is storytelling 101. If you are the writer, you have a contract with your readers to deliver upon the promises that you give them. Now, you will do that in a way that may subvert their expectations. You will do that in ways that manipulates them. That is also your job as an author. That's why they're coming to you for a good story. That's what a good story is made of. But don't fucking lie to me. Right to my face. You know, I do not appreciate that. So those kind of trailers can fuck all the way off. The other kind of trailers that can fuck all the way off are the ones that spoil everything. I hate them so much. And I hate the culture of trailer binging. I don't like that. Stephanie, I understand what you're saying about like nostalgia watching trailers of like movies and trying to, oh, which one am I going to watch? That's cool. What I don't like is like, because Netflix, if you're scrolling through Netflix and if you sit on something too long, it just starts playing the trailer at you. We can get into this culture of just like watching trailer,
Right.
and they're never actually watching anything. My parents are terrible at doing that, and it drives me absolutely fucking bananas.
No, I haven't seen it, but I've seen the trailer.
Yeah. And I mean, I have gotten sucked into that where I'm like, okay, I'm going to add that to my watch list. I'm going to add that to my watch list. And the next thing you know, it's death by fucking TBR, right? And I'm getting buried underneath my watch list. It's like 80 movies long. And at some point, I'm like, I don't need to keep scrolling. I should just start watching everything on my watch list and I'll be fine. But I don't like that culture of just like watching trailer after trailer after trailer after trailer. Just watch a movie that grabs you. Like go look at what it's about and watch it, you know? And if you read the synopsis and you're like, that's interesting, let me watch the trailer. Still interesting, let me watch it. That's great. That's the purpose of a trailer. But I don't think it's good to get stuck in this like short form culture and just like binging that instead of actually watching the stuff, and especially judging something on the trailer without actually watching the thing, which I see people also doing. Like, oh, I saw the trailer, looks like it's this and this and this, and I'm like, you can't say that. You didn't watch it. So there's all those kind of things involved, in my opinion, on trailers, and ultimately, because of all that, I don't like to watch them very often. I will watch them if I am interested in the synopsis. I've gotten kind of into the point of I just read the synopsis first. I want to know what the movie's about. I want to read the copy. I want to read what the writers and the people who actually took the time to write something about it say about it. And then if I'm interested enough in it at that point, I will watch the trailer. Usually to convince my wife to watch it with me. I usually don't even need that because I don't want to watch a trailer if I think it's going to spoil anything for me. And I fear that it often does.
Yeah. I think they're an art form, and I think there's a beauty to them, especially because I'm a proponent.
A good one is a good one.
I'm a proponent for the cinematic experience, like literally going physically to the cinema experience. And I think the trailers are part of that. Like we love to see.
True. And that's totally different than like streaming, for the record. I do like the movie theater.
Also,
trailers.
For your note, you can turn autoplay off on Netflix, which
you can do that. Yeah.
You can do that. It saves your life. Dude.
I'm gonna do that. I do not know I could do that.
You go into settings and you turn off autoplay.
It's so good.
It's like it'll save your life. Because I'm with you. I hate autoplay. But anyway, I think they're an art form, and I think they're kind of like found footage where a lot of crap comes out of them. But like when they're good, they're great. I can think of a few trailers that I've maybe watched more than the movie because it was, and I think you touched on something, Stephanie, and something that's near and dear to Jeremy's heart as well, is like, I think it's a brilliant time to use music well. Because the one I'm thinking of is one of my favorites, Mission Impossible Fallout. Go watch it. They timed all the like little mini action sequences that they were advertising. They timed them with Friction by Imagine Dragons, and like the kind of like bass beat on it is so perfect. And I remember the Star Wars Force Awakens, like I felt excited about Star Wars for the first time in a while, and that died pretty quickly when I watched the movie. But anyway, yeah, I just think there's like a beautiful art to them. But I think you're also all right that they can lie and be like, one of my favorite movies of all time that many people have not seen is called It Comes at Night. And it got hounded by fans because the trailer made it seem like a standard like zombie slasher film, and it isn't even close to that. it's like the most psychological slow burn thriller I've watched. And the trailer was like all gore and like one scene from the movie that had a zombie in it. And I'm like, oh, this sucks. But yeah,
it's folk horror, and that they should have leaned more into the folk horror for the trailer, and they didn't.
100%.
And that would have given it more of a kind of a slow burn, because it's a slow burn, but it's good. It's definitely.
Yeah, and I can think of like recent examples like Long Legs that actually had great ads that didn't show much, but were like creepy enough that you were like, oh, I kind of want to know what that's about. So yeah, I just think that was my
the
beef
first
I had,
one I was going to
Jeremy.
say. That was new. Yeah.
I think I agree with you, Jeremy, on your assessments, but my beef was like, I think it's an art form in itself, and they're not all lies. And I think you can tell when a director has a hand in it, and when it's not just a production company.
You know, it is of course an art form, and the art form itself is lying. Like, you were jazzed for, I assume, The Force Awakens and Star Wars Episode 1. If I don't remember how old you are. But if you saw Star Wars Episode 1 trailer, you were like, oh, hell yeah. I'm going to go see this
double-bladed lightsaber, sign me
the but it didn't
up.
This is what I'm talking about, though, Jeremy. It didn't lie. Like, we got Darth Maul. It just maybe hid some facts Maul. About the
it lied about the feeling. Okay? Sure.
Mission Impossible Fallout did not lie to me.
And sure. Look. Hey, I'm not going to pretend to know about your experiences with Mission Impossible Fallout, but I know basically every person I know has an experience of like, oh, this trailer was shit for this movie that is 100% one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods for me.
Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah, that was a shit trailer.
In there.
Also pretty funny how like people can see a trailer that's like a couple minutes long, and that can influence their end of the whole last movie when they actually go see it, which is really weird to me. Like, people will go to a movie based on the trailer and they'll be really mad that the movie wasn't what they expected, even if it was better than what they expected. Like Cabin in the Woods. You know, it's like you expected a Sam Raimi knockoff and you're mad that like, why? Why are you mad at that? That's weird.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add on that, Stephanie?
Oh no.
Lost Stephanie.
Are you there?
Yeah.
You there?
You're sort of losing everything. I don't know why. We're losing Travis.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm back. I don't know what happened. That was really weird.
You sound like
we all back?
from Portal a little bit.
Are you back?
Yeah, you do. Portal is a great game.
That is a great game.
Back.
Yeah.
Hey,
was that me?
Go.
No, I don't know what
who that was.
It was everybody.
Okay.
I think.
Demons.
It was everybody.
We may
demons.
never know.
Yeah.
Could have been demons the whole time.
Digital demons. Stephanie, what did you want to add?
I don't think I did. One of my favorite things also to do once in a while is when there's a DVD release for a cult classic and they redo a trailer for it. They're always so much better. And that's like a really cool way to like redeem one of your favorites. And one of my favorite trailers I remember seeing as a kid, and I was blown away, and I'm still blown away by the movie, is the starring beautiful blockbuster crazy movie that we know as Speed. That had one of the best trailers ever. I love the trailer. I love the movie still so much. And I was like 10 years old when it came out. And I was just like, what is this? This is crazy. And I just thought that was life. My mom watched daytime television and then I watched action movies. So life was quite dramatic for me at that age.
Nice. There's a YouTube channel that recuts trailers in different genres. That's really funny. Like does horror movies as rom-coms and like rom-coms as horror movies. One of my favorites is they do Friends as a horror thriller, and it's like Ross Geller just being a psychopath. But anyway,
That's great.
I have
he
one
is
more.
a psychopath, so
He is.
I do
don't
have
get me
to,
started.
before you ask one more, Travis, I do have to
Yeah,
throw in, I will give credit where it's due to one more modern trailer that really worked for me. In fact, it got me to watch the movie, and that's a rare thing. So I want to shout it out. No Other Choice.
Oh yeah.
By Park Chan-wook. That movie's fucking awesome. If you haven't seen it yet, I definitely recommend checking it out.
Oscar nominee.
Yeah, it's an Oscar nom, as it should be. It's fucking awesome, and the trailer is great. It's a Park Chan-wook movie. Like,
It's great.
it's gonna be bananas. Go check it out. It's as bananas as you think it will be, and it's so great. And the trailer will. That's one where I say watch the trailer. It doesn't spoil anything, but it gives you the promise of the premise, and that's what I think a good trailer should do.
I agree.
Well said.
I've been enjoying the Odyssey ones, despite people being like the armor's not historically accurate. It's like, go look up Greek armor. It looks stupid. Like, it's okay that we don't. It's fine that we're going Hollywood. It's fine. Anyway,
Elvish armor is stupid in the Lord of the Rings, but it looks cool as fuck. And let's just
looks cool.
admit that.
Rule of cool.
It's
Guys.
both
Come on.
things.
Let's play the
Come on.
rule of cool.
Stephanie,
I
are
wanna
you
talk-
cool with one more question? We're getting
Yeah.
to
Oh yeah,
2 hours.
I'm good. This is my this is the highlight of my evening and my weekend. So you guys go for it.
Thanks.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to time enough. Anyway. Okay. Last question. I want to go more into kind of what you guys, just a question to you, Stephanie and Clayton, and you, Jeremy, if you want to pitch in there, but more to Stephanie and Clayton specifically. I want to talk about collections and anthologies.
Or maybe you
and
suck
kind of,
it. I don't know.
I know that Clayton and Stephanie, you've both put together collections, anthologies, kind of curated these stories into something that is cohesive through line, or at least like has a similar audience that's going to be grasped. And I'd just love to hear you talk through that process, because I think they're really cool and maybe underappreciated. They can be incredibly fun to flip through and read. We've talked about short story collections before, but I don't think I've ever asked on that kind of like formation side of it. What goes into making an anthology or a collection, and what are you thinking about when you're trying to make it the best you possibly can? Stephanie.
Yeah, go Stephanie.
I would say, and I'm very new to this, but for me, I think it's really important to pick a subject that you want to read a lot about, and that you want to read a lot about that's really well written and not so well written. And you're probably going to get about a quarter of that has nothing to do with what you asked for, and you have no idea how it got in the pile. That's for me, what I've seen so far. I will read like 3 or 4 stories that are like, okay, this is pretty good. And then I'll hit finally like 2 or 3 that I'm like, yes. And then it's like the other one might be better off like before or after a story. So you can really strengthen someone's writing by like maybe not putting them the closest to your featured authors, your invited authors. So for, that's a really important part. And luckily I've been in the book industry, I've been a indie bookshop owner since 2018. So like I had a lot of connections with authors to begin with, which really did help my first collection have some bangers in it, and my second set too. I'm just very, very grateful for that, and that people are excited to be part of this. And then just to be like, I was editing Clay McLeod Chapman, and I'm like, what am I doing? This is so crazy. And it's like, I didn't have not really any notes for him, but I think I had like one question because I had to throw something in. And that's really fun, but I think just really making sure the subject is something you're passionate about and that you care about, because if you don't, then it's just like you're not going to pick the best for the work. You're not going to be as critical as you should be for the subject. And like I don't like really, I try not to overthink the order too much, or I will go crazy of the order of it. So that's the selection, is I usually pick about 5 to 8 authors that are very well known, or at least mid-level well known. And then I throw them into people who've maybe never been published, which made me cry numerous times during the process. I had like 2 people who like took a photo of their book and was like, I'm published. This is my first book ever. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is that's such a warm, fuzzy feeling that I love. And that was really fun to work with people and create an online community of authors that were newer. Some, one of them's a teacher from Florida, and one of them is, like, I try to make it diverse as well, age, all of the things. But I definitely want if a number of people are diverse, I want to make sure I give them an opportunity to be in it. So, but I do blind read. I blind read my top, maybe, like, I cut my first cuts, I do blind. Then I look at everybody when I'm like, okay, this is a solid number of people. Let me see, because I don't want to pick all men or all women. Like, I want to make sure I do have a good collection of their backgrounds too. So, because I want people to read this and know, hey, I'm like this author, because every author gets one bio page. They never fill it, but it's I give them that. I want people to read about an author that maybe is like them. And that's important to me. So I think that it could be really frustrating too, because you're reading stuff and then you'll be reading along and being like, this doesn't match. Like it might match what your open call was, but then it doesn't. And you're like, dude, I just read like 3,000 words and you didn't even talk about the main subject that I want, like in this, like that like no reference to fall or Halloween. Like what I mean, like, that's horror, but it's not going to go in this collection. So I think, and I think honestly, my biggest thing that I still struggle with is invited authors get kind of like a pass of what they want to write about. Like they have your collection in mind, but some of them go really far and you're like, they already wrote it. It's not like they don't propose it to you. Like, you want them in your collection. They're going to write whatever they want about that subject in the amount of words that you give them. So if it ends up not really matching, unfortunately, the submissions, that can be kind of hard, because I'm usually getting that story after I've picked the people that are going to be in it. Like, I have them committed, like, hey, they're going to give me their story. And I could switch around the process of when I get what, I could change that in the future. That's something I might think about. But, you'll have just random authors and their stories like this doesn't go with anyone because they're just so out there, and it's great. But it's like, where do I put that in the lineup, So that I don't usually put that in the first half, because I don't want people to think all the stories are like that. So I think, sprinkling those in throughout. But it's a fun process so far. I'm only going to do one a year. I think 2 a year is too much for me with everything else I have going on. I'm disabled, so I really don't want to take out too much. So I did push Yuletide horror. I have everybody. I've picked everyone. Anyone that wanted to back out could, but only one person did. It's going to get pushed to 2027. And then this year is that. And so next year will be my next open call. Won't be probably until late this year, early next year. And I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I'm excited to think about it and then put out that open call for people. So that's what I have. If you have any follow-up questions, I can answer, but I tried to touch on all of the parts of the process.
No, that sounds awesome. It's reminding me, and when I've heard Clay talk about it, it reminds me of like, I've watched behind the scenes stuff on how newscaster directors like run a room. And that seems like you're like curating. It's all different segments of a thing that you're trying to make.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
Like, it seems like a fun puzzle and a fun brain.
It is. It is, and it, like, I did some TAing. I didn't, like, I still like am in contact with my professors at one of my universities, because I would love to do online teaching, especially for library sciences. That's what my big thing was. Just, I was a librarian before I opened the bookshop, and I think that it's really, fun to get to, like, I'm not grading them, but, like, you're sitting there and you're reading them and you're judging them and you're thinking, like, can I work with this author? Can I make this better? Because you're editing it too. And I think that's a really cool way, like, that I get to, like, some of these people are like, thank you so much for this feedback. And I've done the same when people look at my work. Like, I just got my beta, 3 or 4 of my beta readers for Small Town Slasher got back to me, and I'm very excited to see what they have to say. And I skimmed through it. I'm like, cool, I'm going to apply this, maybe this. More than one person says something, then you kind of know what you can change. So that's exciting. But I really do think the process, the reading, I love reading all the stories, because it's just this. And it's great to do this, and I won't ever do novels or novellas because it takes too much of me, and I need to put that into my stories. So I think for me, being someone who's actively writing on my own, I need to do short stories with other people because I don't tend to write short stories. So, because I would be afraid, like, as I'm reading these, maybe I, like that's what our writing is. It's basically all of the things we watch, see, and do and experience in our whole life, kind of, in our own work. So, if I have a lot of that in my head in that moment, then I don't want to be creating something based on that. And it's easier for me to kind of go, nope, when it's something short like that.
Mm-hmm. Clay?
Yeah, Stephanie brings up all the good points. I agree with everything she's spoken to there. My anthology is very different than hers, and all anthologies are kind of their own organism, depending on their intention, their publisher, their theme, whatever it may be. Stephanie's absolutely right. You need to be passionate about it. First and foremost, you need to love the stories you're going to read because you're going to get a lot of them. And then you're going to get a lot that, don't necessarily hit the mark and all that kind of stuff. Those are all really good points. Mine's a contest anthology, so it's different in a lot of ways too. I do invite pros, so I always bring on 4 invited pros. And mine's also very local. Because part of the prize for the Crypticon Seattle anthology is that you get to go to the Crypticon Seattle convention for free. So if you're not from Seattle or able to come all the way to Seattle for the convention, it doesn't really make sense to enter. It's a cheap contest. It's only $10 to enter, which is a lot cheaper than a lot of them. And that's basically just to pay my editors and pay my cover designer and pay for the production of the book and the printing costs. But ultimately, it's still hyper localized. So I also, when I reach out to my pro authors, they get a theme, but my contest authors do not, because I found that is very restrictive, and I want authors to be able to write their best horror story. I don't want them to be stuck in a theme. A lot of authors will still go to the theme that I give the pros, which is write it in transit, or like in a transit situation, like you're on a train, plane, an automobile, or write it at a convention, or write it in a hotel, write it in some way where it's gonna like feel like it's related to the convention. And I always get really cool ones from the pros because they're extremely creative. They're professional writers, so they're able to bend all kinds of crazy, funky stories and concepts into those, restrictive barriers like Stephanie's speaking to. They go to really weird places with it, and it's awesome.
Was it Gordon? Was it Gordon that had the opening one of last year's collection, or who had that?
Gordon had the opening one of the first year. So it was a doppelganger following the main character around at a convention in second person. It was awesome. Yeah.
That one was awesome. I love that.
That one's great. Definitely. If you haven't read Gordon B. White before, you definitely should. He's awesome. He's published in Nightmare a bunch and all over the place, but he's a fantastic author. And yeah, I was very fortunate to become friends with him on my kind of like early come up. And so I have a kind of an in line to getting him to do stuff for me at Crypticon and wherever else every year. I'm very lucky. He's also on a podcast with me now, Beneath the Rain Shadow. But yeah, that story was really, really fun. This year we got one for Matt Dinneman, so that's really exciting because he is a Crypticon Seattle vet.
Hell yes.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Matt Dinneman's in there. Nina Veal is in there. She's nominated for a Stoker for her first novel, Listen to Your Sister. Wendy Wagner is in there, the chief editor of Nightmare Magazine. Yeah, so it's going to be really fun. Eric Keevan, the winner of the contest last year, is writing the foreword. I also do that every year. The winner of the previous year, I ask to write the foreword, so you kind of get published twice, and you get paid for the foreword. So if you win, it's kind of an extra $100 cash prize the next year if you're willing to write a foreword. So anyway, it's going to be really fun. Oh, and the other person in there's Alyssa Alessi, my friend from Boston. She runs the Spooktastic Book Fair out there, and she wrote a thirsty ass erotica horror story. So that's going to be really funny. Tune in for that. It's super gruesome and awesome. But anyway, that one's weird, right? Because I have some themed pro stories, and then I have to select from the contest, and I genuinely, like you, Stephanie, I read those blind. I try to, I read the slush. So for those of you who don't know, we call it the slush pile because you get like tons of submissions. You have to wade through those, and then you get your top whatever. I narrow it down. My process is narrowing it down to 16. And then I send those to my co-editor, Tamara K. Selman. She helps me whittle it down to 10. And then once we have the top 10, then we send those to our panel of juries. We have a 4-person jury from different authors all around the industry, and they're anonymous. And I send it to them. Once we have a top 10, I put in my votes, Tamara puts in her votes. And then from there, we have like a rubric. So every time a jury member votes for first, it gets 4 points, second, 3, third, 2, fourth and fifth, both 1, because those are both unpaid. So that's kind of the rubric. And then we make any decisions on ties, the editors do, based on another kind of criteria. So mine is kind of mathematical, jury based, but I do all the stuff Stephanie's talking about in that slush phase when I'm narrowing it down from like 50 some submissions or however many down to 16. Tamara's helping me get it down to 10. And then we're passing it on to the jury to help us make the decision, because the first couple of years I did it completely by myself, and that wasn't really the best, I don't think, because I like a certain kind of story, and I recognize that, and other people like all kinds of different horror, so I want to make sure and be as inclusive as possible as well. So yeah, having the jury involved in everything when it's a contest and people are paying money into it feels extra important to me, so that's kind of a different angle, but yeah, I guess that's the process for that one. I think that answers your question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask it because to get like the inside from you guys, but also I feel like one thing we have an opportunity to do on the show is advertise the diverse amount of things you can do as a writer. Like I think when I was first looking at books and reading books, it was like, oh yeah, if you want to be a writer, you have to write a novel. And it's like, no, man, like you can be an editor.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Jump into anthologies, you can do short fiction, you can get into, there's a lot. And I think it's cool to hear those different perspectives from like you, Stephanie, and you, Clay.
Short fiction's awesome.
If people are out there looking for something to do as a writer, there's a lot to do. So that's all. Jeremy, if you want to jump in there, but that's all I had.
Oh yeah, I'll jump in on this, and of course, this does come with the disclaimer that my experience of this comes from putting together the order for one rap album.
Yes.
So like, I don't have the experience that Clay has with digging through the Slush catalog, this heap of literature, but like there is this difficulty in separating what is good from what works for the flow, as well as the overarching narrative, and putting things not only that work, but like where specifically they do work, and like that I think is the true test of like the caliber of an anthology series. Like reading through, say, A Collapse of Horses, it's clear that every story in there was like intentionally put there, and not only intentionally included, but intentionally put where it was included. And I think that's a lot of what makes, say, an anthology series really like work and resonate. And like, sure, it works for an album that no one will ever listen to, maybe.
I have.
Yeah, I know you have. God bless you.
God bless you.
Go on Spotify and look up.
Don't tell them. Let them do the work.
Yeah, they gotta find it. They gotta find it. That's
no,
the
I'm
game.
putting in the private chat for Stephanie.
No, don't. It's the game.
I mean,
Stephanie, Jeremy, and I have a rap album. Good luck finding it. It exists.
Look, if you look it up by my name, it's actually pretty easy to find.
That is easier. Okay. It's harder for my name because I was under a pseudonym at the time. But yeah, I know you're right, Jeremy. And so many of these collections are different animals, because that is one author with like hundreds of published short stories, so he had the luxury of choosing these all go really well together, and I'm going to write these two specifically to bookend the collection. So that's very different from like Stephanie's collection or mine. And they all are unique, and they're all different, and they're all cool for their own reason. But ultimately, the order certainly matters. Again, mine is kind of weird because the only order I have control over really is the pros. I put them where I think they fit best, but I always put the winning story at the end because I feel like that's where it should go. That's where it deserves to be. That's where you put your favorite story of the collection. And I always put my most like the pro story that I feel will be the one that readers are most excited about, usually the biggest name that I have first. So like Matt Dinneman will probably be first because he's the biggest name that I have. And then the others will be interspersed between the contest winners, depending on where I think they flow best. So I still have a little control, but less, whereas Stephanie, it sounds like you had a little more control than that.
Yes, I have all of the control.
All the control.
But that sounds like a really cool contest.
It is. It's fun.
That's really cool. And I mean, I'm very confused by all of that. It sounds very overwhelming. So like this, and then here, I feel like you're like Goodwill Hunting me. You know, like I'm like, okay, that's really cool. He can do that. I'm just still on. You got Matt Denman, and oh my God, I love Donut. Princess Donut for life. I'm not caught up yet, but I am here for this series. My husband reads sci-fi and fantasy way more than me. I do read some if I'm recommended, and sometimes it's a hit or miss, and I'm open to that. But when I read this first one, he was trying to tell me the premise of it, and I was just like, how have I not heard of this series? And I just fell in love with the narrator, and I love the audiobooks. That's what I'm doing right now. So very excited for you for to have Matt's story in there, and I think that's awesome. It's going to be a good collection.
It'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be fun for sure. And look forward to hearing what you think about it. I would love your feedback. But yeah, we are pushing up on 2.5 hours at this point. So let's go ahead and rate this thing and get the hell off the air. Stephanie, it's been really, really fun having you, and the time is a testament to that. Not anything that we are upset about, that's for sure. But on here, Fermented Fiction, we have a fun little rating system that's super unhelpful, like a bad movie trailer. We go ahead and we say, how many substances do you need of your choice? Substances of your choice. Stephanie, those can be edibles. Those can be whatever you need to enjoy this movie, Paranormal Activity, to the fullest extent. And we'll start with you, Travis.
Oh, boy. As usual, I'll say there's an easy mode and there's a hard mode. Easy mode is going to be just... Here's easy mode. Okay, I always get elaborate with these. You're gonna fill a whole kind of like tankard full of like a pint tankard of good beer, and that's gonna be your one tankard for the whole movie. But you're gonna lose some of it. You're gonna be sipping the whole thing, and then every time you jump, you're gonna lose some of it. So
sure, you're gonna wear some.
Maybe like half a tankard and wear the other half. That's easy mode. Hard mode is every time Micah pisses you off, take a good drink. Just knock one back and be like, this fucking guy. And you're going to be plastered by the time that he dies. And you're probably going to be like, yeah! So,
absolutely. How about you, Jeremy? You want to give us the Dark Souls mode like you usually do?
Fine. My initial plan was to go with Travis's hard mode, but no, he took that from me.
He did.
So here, we're going to go with, like, obviously, you have something, like, I'm not going to say a full shot because this movie's not very long, but you'll want to have a drink of something whenever... like Micah is just being the worst, which is a lot of the movie. It's so much of the movie. You'll want to have something also for when, like Katie, who is reportedly an English major, is not much of a wordsmith. Like, she uses very basic terminology, really antithetical to every English major I have ever met. in my entire life. They're trying to shoehorn in as many big words as possible so that you know without asking them that they're an English major. And Katie doesn't do that.
She doesn't.
She doesn't. Not even one time.
I feel like you're shoehorning that in, or does it have something to do with
kind of
drinking?
insulting.
No.
English
Drink
majors
every
for
time
no
you feel
reason
like,
here.
hey, that's kind of basic. And as an English major, she would, zhuzh it up, make it a little more flowery. But she doesn't.
I'm just gonna leave that alone.
That's gonna vary from viewer to viewer. Okay. Hey, Clay, calm down. Okay.
I'm calm. I'm
You're
so calm.
Travis, you also calm down.
It's way too late in the show for me to care about this.
Fine.
Despite the fact that I am said English major.
So am I.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know this. I know
Are
this
you
about
done?
both of you. That's fine. No, I'm not done.
All right.
I'm gonna keep going. So
2.5 fucking hours, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna milk it. Okay. Yeah, tap your wrist all you want. You're not even wearing a watch, Travis.
This episode is officially an hour longer than Paranormal Activity at this point.
Thank God. Anyway.
You could have damn near watched 2 of the fuckers.
I could have been almost two.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you'll also want to have a drink for every time it gets worse. After Katie says that she's gonna call the demonologist if things get worse, and then she doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's gonna get you just a few more.
I'm sorry.
Okay?
I know we're over. That is a fun fact. They had a whole demonologist scene. They just cut it. So
interesting.
Yeah, they cut it and filmed other scenes. Anyway,
interesting. I didn't know that.
That kind of rules. Anyway, you don't have to drink. Just pour one out because the demon hates Micah as much as you do, which is nice. And then, of course, you'll want to take a drink every time you have the thought, man, middle class could afford a 3-bedroom house back then.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So have a drink for every time of that, and then you're in for a hell of a movie.
You are.
Really.
That's Dark Souls mode. All right. For me, because it's an hour and 26 minutes long, I'm just going to say go ahead and, in the spirit of Stephanie being on the show and being a fellow edible lover, pop an edible at the start because it takes about an hour for them fuckers to kick in. And then for the first hour of the movie, just go ahead and do a power hour. That'll be a roughly equivalent to every time Micah pisses you off anyway. So it should equate to about the same amount of drinks. Do a power hour, which if you don't know, that's a shot of beer every minute for an hour.
Jesus.
Yes, a shot of beer, just a little shot.
Oh, a shot of beer. Oh my God, I thought you said a shot. And I'm like, you'd be dead.
No. You would be dead.
I thought we were calling the paramedics.
I do know someone that
beforehand.
tried that. It didn't work out.
It doesn't work. I have known people who tried that too. They make it like 6 shots, 7, 8, 15 tops, and then they're dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, do the power hour with the beer. That's a shot every minute of beer, and you will get drunker than you think because you end up housing 4 to 5 beers in an hour. Yep. And then your edible will hit right around the time that Katie is full on a demon body lady. And that should be pretty equivalent as well. You've been possessed by your drug of choice. And then if you want to play on my version of hard mode, go ahead and just do a waterfall. Which, if you don't know, is just drinking continuously. Every time Katie stands over Micah for the duration of Katie standing over Micah.
Oh, God.
That's mine. Stephanie, what's yours?
Oh, fuck. Okay. I would say regular mode. Okay, let's see here. Okay, you get yourself some popcorn, you make your popcorn and you pop your edible like 15 minutes before. Then
I like that you became from Boston for this, by the way. I
don't know why. I just did it. I'm just going with it. So then you get yourself a pop and you go sit down, and now you're there and you're ready. And maybe you have a little, I don't know, a beer or wine, whatever you like. And now we're gonna watch the movie Edible's Not There. You got your second edible ready to go. You're gonna nibble on that. Yeah. So every time Micah pisses you off, you do a little nibble. Every time that Katie doesn't leave, you do a little nibble. And you just nibble till that's gone. And now you have your popcorn, you have your juice, and you can take your sips when you need to when you get cotton mouth. And now by the end of the movie, your nibbles have now kicked in with your edible, and now you're really, really scared. And you got to make sure to turn off the lights too when the edible completely goes in.
Nice.
God, this is
Mic
perfect.
drop. Yep.
That was normal
And,
mode?
That was normal mode. So
That
hard
was
mode
normal.
is
And if you can't,
sober.
park your car down by the harbor.
Sober.
Sober is hard mode.
Hard mode is
Yeah.
sober.
Yeah. Yeah. Hard mode is sober.
I like it.
Nice.
I like
Way to
Pepsi
subvert the
Strip.
trope, Stephanie. You see,
Thank
that's how
you.
you know Stephanie's a master storyteller right there.
Yeah, she's a real one.
Incredible.
Stephanie, where can people find your masterfully written and edited stories? Where can they find you? Where can they follow along with you? And yeah, anything you want to shout out here before we go off the air?
At Death by TBR Books on Instagram, deathbytbrbooks.com. If you are more of an audiobook, ebook person, you can still support me by going to patreon.com/Death by TBR Books. I have a Patreon that is fun, and we have book clubs every month. That's also fun. So I would say that, and fuck ICE. Yeah, okay, that's it. I'm good.
Yeah, fuck them.
There we go.
All right.
All right. Hell yeah. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Stephanie. Shout out to Death by TBR Books. Go check that out. We will put everything down in the show notes in terms of links. And yeah, go watch your local found footage horror movies because they are awesome. And thank you so much for being here on Fermented Fiction. We've been the usual stooges, Jeremy, Travis, and Clay. And we'll be back next week with Rachel Harrison debating The Lighthouse. Speaking of bananas ass movies, come on back to check that out with us. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.